5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you. What an amazing day it is to be alive. Today is December 17th. It's a Thursday, and we are going to have an amazing Thursday. We have an amazing Thursday every single Thursday. In fact, we have an amazing day every single day. And why? Because here at Paleocrat Diaries, we rejoice, and we are glad in it, no matter what, no matter the difficulties that we face, no matter the hardships, no matter the downers, and life is filled with all of those, but we resolve deep inside every single day to rejoice because we've opened our eyes to this amazing adventure that we call life. And God is good all the time. And so I'm grateful for all of you. We've got a great show for you today. In fact, we've got Joe Pacello from the front line with Joe and Joe. He's going to be back. He's going to be here at about 11:30. We're going to have a really great time. I tried to fix the audio. We had to do a bunch of technical tests and everything and figure out what the audio issues were yesterday because there was a delay. There was a delay on the Zoom, and so we apologize for that delay. We're hoping that today that has been resolved. We'll find out. We'll find out, but no matter what, he's going to be here. He's going to be here, and I've already reached out to a couple people to set them up for interviews beginning next week, and so hopefully... You know, I would love, because this is a 3-hour-long show, basically, at this point, I would love to have a guest on every day. You know, somebody different on every day. I'd like to get people from all different perspectives and stuff. I'd like to have them on. But mainly, you know, I mean, there's a lot of shows out there that are debate shows, and that's good for them, if that's what they're into. This show here, you know, I want to have people on even from groups like Make-A-Wish, for example. I want to have groups like Make-A-Wish. I want to have them on talking about inspirational stories with kids and things like that. I don't know if they'll come on. We're a little bit edgy, I guess. We're an edgy morning show. But you know what? If groups like Make-A-Wish are able to go on programs like morning shows on AM/FM stations, and those morning shows are talking about, you know, private parts and stuff and joking around about sex and all that, and that's what they're doing. This is a family-oriented show. Right? I mean, we talk about topics that are pretty hardcore. We talk about topics that are deep, and we talk about them from a traditional perspective, okay? But at the same time, we try to remain family friendly. We're not, you know, talking about private parts left and right. So sometimes it gets a little bit into it, but it's not vulgar. You know what I'm saying? It's not vulgar. Somebody in the comments asked if I would have Robertson Jennings on someday. I would like to have Robertson Jennings on. Actually, I'm talking about the comments. I may as well right now just go to the comments. All right, here we go. Here's the deal about this, guys. Here's the deal about, you know, because, oh, by the way, I better say this, and we say this basically every single show, is that if you're new to the program and you're watching this on Facebook, or you're on YouTube, or you're on DLive, or you're on Twitch, or wherever you happen to be, if you comment live during the program, it doesn't matter if you don't see anybody else in that comment section. We are literally in, I don't know, right now, what are we on? 24 different channels at the same time. And by the way, a huge clap for that, please. You know, I actually talked to my dad about it yesterday because I told him, I said, I use him as a foil. I said, I use you as a foil, man. I said, I know you ain't tuning in. You're listening to Boomer Talk and stuff, you know. And he's like, what? And he was telling me, he said, you know, Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh were saying certain things. And I'm like, yeah, Boomer Talk. And I like Rush, and I like Levin, okay? I don't agree with them all the time, but I like them. And you got to give props, man. They're like the godfathers of this stuff. You know, but I was talking to him and telling him, you know, how many different stations we're on. Because he said, well, are people watching? And I'm like, yes, dude. What are you talking about? I'm like, just because you're not doesn't mean other people aren't, man. Are you out of your mind? He hadn't seen a single thing. He hadn't seen anything at all. So I sent him the highlight reel. You know, but talking about all the different places and all the different channels that we happen to be on. We're on, like, right now, today, we're on 24. So tell us where you are. Tell us, are you on Catholic Live? Are you on Catholic Media? Are you on Holy Faith Media? Are you on Paleocrat on YouTube? Where are you? Let us know. You can put it in the comment section because, as you can see, check it out. This is really cool. You've got YouTube. You've got Facebook. Okay, you got all different people in here. Let's see here. TRN/ says, "What's up, Jeremiah? Hey, what's up, man? What's going on, Bald Eagle? Good morning. Good morning to you, bro. Good morning to you. I saw that video yesterday. I got to have you on, man. It's what's got to happen. I got to have you on. I don't know, man. Are you down or what, man? Because I need to see you just rocking hard. I like the creativity of your videos, though. You're a creative guy, but I want to see you rocking that hard, man. You're too passionate and too powerful of a guy. I need it, right? I need the daily dose, dude, is what we need, okay? So even if it's little bits, right? Even if it's like, chewing up the worms and stuff and the animals and feeding the little birdies, doesn't matter, man. We need your stuff, dude. We need your stuff. So yeah, good morning. I hope you have a great day. Barbara, hello from Wisconsin. Always reminding us, man. Always reminding us. Very grateful for you out in Wisconsin. Very, very grateful for you. Benjamin says, all for the greater glory of God. You better believe it. You better believe it. Everything for the glory of God. Through and through, from beginning to end, top to bottom. Okay, doesn't matter, all of it. Because in the end, guess what? In the end, all authority, all power, and all glory are to him. And so we may as well practice right now. We may as well just do it. And it's true right now anyway. It's true right now anyway, which is why we have to subject all things unto him. Even our thoughts and our imaginations and all of our actions. And that's what we're doing right here on the show. So all right here. Someone asked, will I please have Robert Sungenis on the program? Here's the thing, man. I was talking about boomer talk, right? So, Robert, a friend of mine named Lawrence, one time, he sent a video to Robert Sungenis, one of my videos. Now, it was a pre-recorded one, so it's a little bit different, right? It's pre-recorded. Anybody who's familiar with my work with video editing and stuff, they know how it is. A lot of split screens, zooms, stuff like that, It's more modern, okay? It's more modern. And he sent it over there, and apparently Mr. Sungenis, he didn't like it. He wasn't a fan of it. He's like, I don't know about all those split screens and the zooming, and I don't. Just give me a guy sitting in front of a mic. That's what I'm talking about. Bless his heart. I love the guy. We have disagreements. We have disagreements on some stuff. That's normal. But he's part of the network, and he's an awesome guy. And my plan is, I'd like to have different people from the network on the show more regularly, because with Holy Faith Media, I don't know. Am I the only guy that goes every single day? And I don't know. Is this true? Is this true? Am I the only guy that does that? But I would like to have him on. But the thing is, there's some topics I don't want to get embroiled in. And so I'm kind of like, I see his feed. His feed gets pretty crazy. His feed gets pretty nuts. And it's not to say that stuff is not interesting or even that he's wrong. It's that we'd have to stay focused. And I know that even the comments, there would be a tendency to want to go in certain directions. And I'd be like, I don't know about this, man. I don't know. Maybe we got to talk. It was a long time ago. In fact, we did talk. I don't even know if he remembers this. Back when I left Sedevacantism, before, because I was a Sedevacantist for a while, I rejected the Pope's Vatican II forward, and it got pretty crazy, and it was a big bummer, okay, because I was making some really great Catholic videos before that, and I had a pretty sizable audience, especially for back then, the early days of YouTube. You're having #1 videos in people and blogs or in politics and activism or whatever. You're having #1 videos. And, I'd have let's say 3,000 views. And it's like #1 in the category today. And you're like, wow, really? And it felt really special. It's like a mega church, you feel pretty good about it. But, I was doing really great stuff, became a Sedevacantist. And when I came back in communion with the church, when I did that, it was a while where I was trying to connect with people. I knew I had to be grounded in something. I needed that support network. I needed people even to hold me accountable on a lot of things. And we talked one time because he had this idea. It was like Sedevacantist Watch, right? It was because they have Novus Ordo Watch, right? There's a Novus Ordo Watch site, and Sedevacantist Watch would be something similar to that. And we talked about it, talked to Lawrence about it at the time, and it was a possibility that it was going to be hosted there, and it was going to be one of the pages on his website. And never went through, and I ended up leaving the church anyway, and it was a really rough time. But I'd love to have him on. I think it'd be a really, really, really great time. I think we'd have a good time. All right, Brian says, good morning, Wolfpack. Ow! Good morning to you, man. You guys get me pumped. You give me. Mike Phelps asked how I'm doing. Mike Phelps. Number one, I miss you, bro. That's the first thing. Number two, this is how I am every single morning. You want to know how I'm doing? You want to know how I'm doing here? I'm doing great, bro. I'm rocking hard, dude. Smiling, laughing, having fun, getting intense, growling into mics. It's like, talking to my dad again, talking about that. My dad asked me, he's like, so what are you doing? How are you doing all this stuff? What's your shtick kind of thing? And I said, well, the truth is, it's kind of like, everything is authentically me. You just got to crank it up to 11 bazillion. 11 gazillion. And if you do that, you crank it up. You take me and you say, well, look at this dynamic of Paleocrat. Look at this dynamic of Paleocrat. Look at this quality and characteristic of Paleocrat. And then you put it all together and you're like, okay, wow, this is looking pretty dope. It's like a Megazord. And you're like, oh no, we can make that Megazord even bigger. It's like if you connected Apache Chief and a Megazord. and the Megazord's like, oh no, and blam, and it just gets super huge. That is what I am like every single day, bro. Every single day. I love doing the show. Bobby, is it Boutron? Boutron? How would you pronounce that? Bytron? Catholic Media on Facebook. I don't even care, man. Bobby. What's up, Bobby? Super glad to see you, man. I'm glad you're tuned in, by the way. Catholic Media on Facebook, and I'm glad you commented on that. Brian says Paleocrat on YouTube. Francis Losick says Facebook. Okay, come on. Where on Facebook, Francis? We're on Facebook. Ann Diesel. Look at this. Ann Diesel. You know what? I'll tell you. One of the things I like is there's all these new people that are commenting. Okay. Now, Ann Diesel, have I seen you before? Ann Diesel? That name, man. I like that name. So anyway, yeah, Holy Faith Media on YouTube. And if you're on Holy Faith Media, you're able to do super chats. And super chats, it's YouTube takes a very unhealthy percentage of that. It's like 50-something% of that at the end of the day. So if you end up giving $15, you really know you're giving us about $7.50 kind of thing. But at the same time, it's a convenient way of doing it, and a lot of people do it that way. And YouTube is providing that service for now. YouTube is doing it, and we may be able to be monetized. In fact, it's under review right now over at Paleocrat because you guys are awesome. And not just guys, man, because you guys and girls, you men and women, because we have a whole bunch of ladies tuning in. And in fact, the ladies, I gotta say this, boys, the ladies, they are way ahead of you, man. They are way ahead of you, not only tuning into the show, but financially supporting the show. And I'm like, what the heck, man? Now, maybe, a lot of these are traditional ladies. So a lot of them, they may, I don't know if they're out there working second job and they're like, look, I love listening to you while I'm at work or whatever. Maybe it's the guy that's like, hey, look, baby, why don't you go ahead and give our boy some money? But no matter what, man, I gotta say, the ladies have stepped up. Because they know, they understand, man. We are taking a stand here we're taking a stand for families. We're taking a stand for making them babies. We're taking a stand for educating generations to come and equipping not only future leaders, but future saints. That's what we're doing here. All right, here. Paul and Nat, good morning. Happy to be with the Wolfpack this morning. You know what, guys? I love it, man. I love it. Somebody had a picture they sent me, man, where it's talking about a Wolfpack tattoo. I think it was one of those where it's one of those apps, or the games you play on Facebook where they kind of funnel around your information and put it together to say, what would your tattoo be? And this lady, I'm telling you, it was like talking about being the leader of the Wolfpack. Now, I got to tell her, I got to say, look, you got to step back a second. I'm the leader of the Wolfpack. It's my show. Oh, man. But it was so great. It was so great because it's showing like what are common themes and what are common sentiments that are being discussed on her, on her page and stuff. And it was wolves. It was Wolfpack. You know, and she's not out there sharing, you know, random images of wolf shirts howling and wolf plates that you can get at truck stops. I mean, it's she's tuning into the show on the regular, man. Tuning in to the show on the regular. Bethany says, hello, you, and you all be amazing. Of course, you better believe it, especially now that I got that stack of emojis with the wolf and the cuddly happy face and the American flag and my mega buff right arm. Yeah. All right. Michael says he's watching on YouTube in, is it Bossier City, Louisiana? Is that how you would count that? I don't want to say Bossier. Are you in Bossier City? Is that what you guys think of yourselves? Oh, man, yeah. Let's see here. John Mills, those Cost Pro 4 AA headphones that you have on are great. I had a pair. Dude, it's true. These are vintage, man. These are straight up vintage. You know, I got them. They to me, you know, I grew up in the radio scene, man. My dad was a radio guy. He was the station manager for a while. And so we were always in a radio station. So I saw, you know, tons of really cool headphones growing up. My dad had some great Macintosh speakers. He had, you know, really awesome headphones all the time. He'd always tell me, you got to listen through these headphones. And these ones, dude, brother, fantastic. The only thing is, man, they weigh like 20 pounds. I'm going to have like the buffest neck in the world. Oh my gosh, man. Let's see here. All right, only a couple more of these. Heaven Z Michigan Home. I have no idea what your point is. What does this have to do with this supposed topic? It's a 3-hour long show. This is a talk show. There is no one topic. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So yes, there's that topic, by the way, the mysterious meeting that took place in the White House. That's going to be talked about. If you're not familiar with the show, I'm not going to make fun because you may not even know my shtick at all, right? You may not even know Heaven's My Home. You may not understand it. In fact, you might even be like a boomer or older and not even understand this format. Like, you might be very confused. I'm not meaning that in a way that's being mean. I'm saying there's a generational thing. But this is a 3-hour long talk show. It's like, you know, if you tune into Rush Limbaugh, you tune into Michael Savage, you tune into Alex Jones and his 6-hour radiothon. You know, you've got a whole bunch of different topics. We begin, of course, just having fun. And so we end up talking about all sorts of things. We're gonna talk about COVID. Okay, we're gonna, in fact, many different aspects of that, including a article written by my buddy over at LifeSite, my good friend Steve Cox. He wrote one about masks and what is the purpose of this, and is it turning us into monsters that we don't even trust, you know, our neighbors and stuff, and talk about how it's affected community and how, especially in a time of great tumult, in a time of great terror and tension, that we aren't allowed to go into places like churches or even into bars. And you look historically at the way that the state has been challenged by the people that congregate in areas. We're going to talk about that. And there's not much to say, in fact, about that mysterious meeting at the White House. In fact, the only announcement from it is one of the participants there posted. In fact, I think it's the only tweet this individual's even done, and saying that they something huge and historical took place, and that he'll talk about it when he can, ... But people are wondering, they're saying, what is this meeting all about? It's something amazing. And yet at the same time, especially with everything that's coming out right now. And so, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about education. And so you may not understand that. And so I'm not going to, normally I would make jokes about people coming in on the short bus or whatever, you know, and being grumpy and saying, I want my information now. And I say, you know what? Didn't your generation appreciate delayed gratification? All right, man. Let's see. John Clore, Wolfpack, sharing you to the TRT page. Ow, dude, share me all over. If you guys have not clicked that like button, you're bumming me out. In fact, you're being a little bit of a jerk. If you like this show, and I know you do. You guys come in here, you guys talk about it all the time. If you guys love the show, you got to make sure, number one, it's an easy thing. The little thumb, you got to hit it. And then you see that little subscribe thing there, okay? Or the like on the page, you got to hit it. You got to hit that. And if you want, and this would be great, if you want to share it, and you want to share it with friends that you're like, hey man, this guy is a lot of fun. We're having a good time. We're always waking up, drinking tons of coffee, everything else. You go, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, share and tag them. Tag them and bag them, boys and girls. You got to do it. Rachel says, ow, Ow, yes, ow to you. Ow to you, Joe. Oh, good morning. Yes. And Ann Diesel says that, now, boy or girl, I don't want to misgender you or give you a wrong pronoun by saying they. It's Ann Diesel's first time here. First time here. I hope you have a really good time. I really do. Hernandez, hi all. God bless you. I'm new to the channel. Thank you so much. I'm so glad. Look, we could go down for a long. Ember says, I gotta go. I hope you read my comments. Sleep on it. What were your comments? Let's see. December 21st, Jupiter-Saturn alignment makes a cross. Yes, it's called the Christmas star. Yes, let's all sing together in love, singing, what is that? Iowa? Why would we sing Iowa? I didn't even know there was a song called Iowa. What are you talking about? I love you. Making a ball of love. Sending your love to Creator. Yes, I'm glad you are sending your love. I'm glad you're sending your love over to the old boy here. Oh boy, I appreciate all the love. We could go on forever, but I got a lot of stories to talk about. Before we do, you got to remember, of course, you can go to paleocratdiaries.com. If you see this up here, if you see this, yeah, right there, that is my daughter Samantha. It's one of the last times that we had our pillow blankets together. It's a family tradition that we have with as many blankets and as many pillows and vintage cartoons like Super Friends and stuff like that, watching cartoons, having a good time, or Doctor Who, having a good time. It was one of the last, in fact, it was the last time that we were able to do that before she died of brain cancer. And that'll forever be at the top of my page. People have asked me, they're like, when are you going to change the banner on your Facebook page? And I'm like, in your dreams, son, you think I'm going to change that picture? You're nuts. That picture shall remain. I don't care if I'm 80 years old. People are going to be like, who's that young, handsome guy? And I'll be like, he's turned into this old, handsome guy. So you got to make sure, go check it out. If you want to connect with our team, it's right here. You can connect with us. We got all of our information there. We've got our emails and everything else. If you'd like to help out with the show, every bit helps. You can become a bona fide member of the Paleonaughty. Count me in. And we're going to have some special perks for that. We've even got a store that we've been putting together. And that should be launched actually over the weekend, so that way you'll be able to do all that. We have interviews, public speaking. You can book all of that right there on our services page. In fact, it might be, no, it's not down there. Yeah, so all that's over at our services page. And of course, let's see, lastly, oh no, that's it. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. If you want, you can just go ahead and subscribe. Sorry for flying all over the map with this. If you want, and you don't want to, you're not able to become a member, no problemo. Subscribe, and you will get updated whenever we update the site. And we don't do that often. We're not spamming you. We're not taking your information and sharing it around. Okay, last announcement. When the Gretsch stole Christmas, the people took it back. I told you yesterday that we made a video. A commercial for this event, because it's going to be tons of fun on December 23rd at the Lansing Capitol. I'm going to be speaking. I'm one of the speakers there, but there's going to be tons of amazing stuff there. We're even going to have a parade. It's going to be a blast. There's going to be Santa, some very fantastic elves, let me tell you. I've gotten on good authority, guys. I know. I got the inside scoop. And so there's going to be, not even joking, guys, the elves, yeah. So and guys, the elves. So the thing is that that's going to be going on. We were recording a commercial for it, and it was awesome, but then we found out that the entire time we had not changed the audio settings. So we were really, really bummed out about that. And it messed it all up. You couldn't hear it. So we recorded again last night, and it was awesome, except that we thought we had all the scenes we needed, but there were a number of them that are transitional scenes. So without them, it just skips from one thing to the next, and it makes no sense. You're not getting what you need, the information. So I'm doing the voiceover today for that. We're recording the last couple scenes this evening. I'm trying really hard to make it so that we can just air it tomorrow, because we have to be able to air it over the weekend and share that video. It's going to be about a minute and a half to 2 minutes long. It's a story. It's fun. And it's a little absurd. They might regret having me do it. I'm like, what do you expect, man? What do you expect from me, guys? And of course, if you go, make sure we are accepting things like candy, cola, snacks, hygiene care, new clothing, miscellaneous stuff like batteries for the Grand Rapids Home for Veterans. So we want, we're doing donations and stuff like that. All righty, guys. All righty. Moving on. We got to get to some of these funny stories here. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I can keep this Zoom channel going because there's going to be a guest here at 11:30. So we got to cook through this stuff. Let's see here. And man, by the way, why do I have this tiny cup? Ailey, I need you down here. I need you down here, stat. I got this great pot of coffee over here, and I've got this little itsy cup. It's killing me. How could, I mean, the straw is like, look at this, guys. This ain't right. It should be against the law. Isn't there a law about this? In Paleo land, Paleocrat nation, there's got to be a law against that. There's got to be a law against that. So, okay, first things first in the funny stories section. Remember, funny stories are going to go today till about 11:30. We may continue on after that. Because, you know, we got to have a little bit more fun. But we'll see. We'll see how long it goes with Joe Pacello. We're going to find out how long that goes. Joe is one of the Joes. He's the bald Joe from the front line with Joe and Joe. And so it's going to be a really great time. You're not going to want to miss it. My friend here, yo, Adrian, check out this commie BS that just came across my husband's phone while listening to headphones tonight. Yeah, it's already starting, folks. Okay, so this is an iPhone, right? Okay, about headphone notifications. These notifications inform you if you've been listening to loud headphone audio for long enough to affect your hearing. In certain regions, these notifications cannot be turned up. What the heck? A 7-day limit. Exposure limits are based on the safe listening guidelines set by the World Health. Is this stinking real? Is this real? Oh, okay. Ailey heard me upstairs. She's with the staff upstairs. She heard me, and she's putting something together. Man, I don't look like an Oompa Loompa right now. What the heck's up with that? Got to get some different colors down here. I don't know what's going on. So, all right. Oh yeah. Okay. Now I got it, guys. I liked the Christmas mug. That was very nice to have. You know, it's kind of a cute mug. But you know, this one's superior by far. This is the superhero mug. It's how I feel. Plus, it's like, you know, 2.5 times the size. So I'm gonna have to be able to get a lot of coffee in for this. We're gonna have to do it, guys. We're gonna have to do it. Got a long day ahead. All right. But is this true? And the World Health Organization, they're like, oh yeah. We're abiding by everything from now on to the World Health. Isn't it true, though, guys? Don't you feel as though that's exactly what we're dealing with at this point? That it's between freedom, individual freedom, national sovereignty, and these internationalist groups like the World Health Organization, UN, you know, the Great Reset, those crazy fearmongers and stuff. Let's see. You can review your headphone audio exposure and learn more about safe listening habits. So like, I understand. Why don't they do this, by the way? Why don't they do this with food? You know, well, no, I'm not encouraging this. I'm not encouraging this and saying, like, why don't you do it with food? They're like, oh, thank you for pointing out the hypocrisy. We're going to go ahead and do that now. No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is why the selective nature of this? And you're like, well, you know, they would avoid topics like food, for example, you know, or you know, gay sex. You know, why would they not talk about it and say, you've had one too many gay sex encounters. It's not a healthy lifestyle. And in fact, it can be quite dangerous. So it has, statistically speaking, not healthy for you. And so, you know, maybe, I don't know why they don't do that either. Maybe they've got a good argument as to why. I'd like to hear that. Let's see. Mom refuses to go to the daughter's Christmas school play after she is cast as a tree. What? Okay, guys. This is by Paige Holland. We miss Paige Holland Showbiz audience writer? Okay, Paige, you moved up. I never seen that before. I've just seen you as audience writer. You know, now you are the showbiz audience writer. And this is categorized as showbiz. I mean, I guess, you know. I guess it is, you know, it makes sense a little bit. That can't be the real thing. Oh, it's a stock image. Well, why didn't you get a real picture? Why don't you just use the real one? Let's see. A mom has come under fire for refusing to attend her daughter's Christmas school play because she was cast as a tree. Have you guys ever been upset about something like that? Let me ask you. Be honest with me. Have you? And by the way, what's the worst thing that you or someone you knew, the worst thing that someone's ever been cast as? Okay. I remember I got into a big feud, man, with my school. And it was the last public school I went to. 4th grade, man. 4th grade. Went to this school. It was a Thanksgiving play. They had us dress up. It's kind of cute. I mean, we're in these, like, you know, garbage bags and stuff. And they fluff it all about as a turkey. You know, and so, like, I'm a turkey and I got a big garbage bag on. They tie it down real tight and they fill it up with a bunch of these, wadded up paper and stuff to get it kind of poofy. And then you got, of course, all that stuff going on with it. And But the thing is they had us sing a song where Thanksgiving, the main theme of it was that we are going to praise the turkey on this Thanksgiving day, and that was the song that we sang. There's no mention of God. There was no, it was very politically correct and stuff like that. And they were going down that dark road of, worshiping turkeys and crap. And so as a kid, I said, I can't sing that. I'm not going to sing that I'm praising a turkey. What are you talking about? That's the stupidest thing I've ever had to sing out loud. I don't know. And so I brought it up, and they were very, very upset with me. Very upset with me. In fact, I think that I got a spanking over that. I'm old enough that I remember, man, you go to the principal's office, that bugger's got one of those wooden paddles, and it's got those holes in it and stuff. Having kids carve their names in that wooden paddle with their teeth. He'd whoop my butt, dude. I mean, and that was bad, and I was bullied over that stuff. So I understand, and how often is somebody, made to play the part of a tree and it looks dope, other than maybe Danielson Family? And if people don't know who Danielson Family is, it's one of the more extraordinary Christian bands that have ever existed. He's got a magical voice. I mean, it's just amazing. If you don't know it, you don't get it. Danielson Family, it's old school. What's homeboy's name, man? That Sufjan Stevens. Didn't he get his start with them? Sufjan Stevens. I like some of Sufjan's stuff. She told her daughter she wouldn't take the day off for it, as a tree doesn't do anything, leaving her daughter in a flood of tears. See, that's like adding insult to injury. This lady is a real jerk. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she posted her situation on Reddit. Okay, yeah. She started crying and ran and told my husband he was no help. Of course not. Your husband in this case, goodness gracious, lady. Mom's out there. Mom's tuning in. What would you do? I know that. Oh my gosh, why did I do this? Okay. I need to wait to turn it to the next story, man, because this is what's up with this crap. But moms, what would you do? What would you do? You're tuning into this show. You obviously love your kids. You're obviously super smart. You're super hot. You are very righteous. Okay, indeed. And in fact, the kind of righteousness that just bursts out of you all the time, even when you're grumpy, and you're humble because you're going to say, oh, I'm not always that way, Paleo. And I'm going to say, oh, I bet. And the thing is, though, but we all know it. I mean, come on, give it up. But the thing is that, would you go? Would you go? I would. I would go. And I would be proud, in fact. I would be proud. Let's see here. Mic problems. No, people are saying that I had mic problems. No, I didn't have any mic problems. It might be the connection on that particular site, which would be a real big bummer, by the way. Super dupe big bummer. Oh my gosh. So, okay, talking about big bummer. Well, is this a bummer? I mean, that bugger looks happy, doesn't he? Look, and dude, why isn't this messed up? What the heck is this? What is it? Creative artist brings his children's doodles to life just the way their imagination's intended. Are you serious? Ugh. Are you serious about that? Creative artist Tom Curtis is clearly a dad on a mission. Okay, no, this has to be, okay, it's photoshopped. All right, I got you, because I'm like, if he's actually cutting into these animals and then putting little teeth and junk in there, that ain't right. Is he doing that? It looks, okay, it's got to be photoshopped, right? He's not like carving it out. I'd be like, eh. Dude, don't do that. The heck is wrong with you, man? What is wrong with you, son? Yeah, because look at that. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's true. And look at this bugger. Okay, he's a little smiling woodpecker. He's a little smiling woodpecker. It's got to be Photoshop. There's no way he's carving. He's like, okay, look at the manipulation you'd have to do. That's like that Dumb and Dumber bird. You take the duct tape off and you just kind of slide it around and glue it to the neck. Little birdie, little bird. Oh my gosh, man. That's just like Nightmare Land. Nightmare Land. Oh yeah. And you know what? If he did this to a real elephant, dude, he's in big trouble. Oh, but he didn't take the tusks. Okay. He's conscientious. So he did that to the elephant's face. What was the drawing, man? We got to see the drawing. Where's the drawing of the elephant? There's no drawing of the elephant. Oh, so he's even doing cars and stuff. Oh, wow. I got you. Okay, I used to do this, in fact, with my daughter. Not making like real birds and stuff like that. But I would take drawings that my kids would do and I would draw them out. And I was inspired, in fact, by my buddy Chad Lutsky. He used to do that with painting. And he would make really great paintings of his kids' stuff. It was awesome. It's totally, totally awesome, man. Let's see here. Florida woman finds raccoon in her Christmas tree. And we saw this a little bit yesterday, but we got to watch the video. We got to see this video here, man. So here we go. Okay, I'm hoping. I'm going to turn off that audio because I simply don't know what's going on. I don't want to get in trouble for that audio. I don't know if it's free, you know, royalty free. So this chick is checking it out. All right, come on. See, I get why they do that because they're allowed to. Maybe they have the rights to it. But if I play that, oh, hold on. I had it over there. I'm so sorry, guys. It's okay. This lady, we'll do commentaries. This lady's checking it out. The dog's checking it out. What the heck's going on? You see that? She goes running. She goes running, dude. Oh, look at it up there. Look at that bugger, man. Oh, guys, what would you do if you ever had a raccoon in your house? Have you ever had a raccoon in your house? Oh, my gosh, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, we're going to see this. Is this a video, too? They got this? Let me see. What does it say? Hawk flies into home. Whoa, a hawk? Okay, so what would be worse, you guys? I mean, if you had to start your day one way or another, and you're like, okay, you know, it's like one of those things. What would you rather do? Drink a gallon bucket of monkey snot or slide down, you know, a razor blade into a 20-foot pool with 20-foot walls that's filled with iodine? What would you rather do? You know, the bubbling warm monkey snot. And those are childish. We don't entertain questions that are childish anymore, okay? That's not real. But apparently a hawk and a raccoon in your house is real. This is not a childish question. It's not childish. In fact, it's a pressing question that desperately needs an answer, and you ought to think about it, even if only to prepare. Even if only to prepare. And what would you rather have? Would you rather have a hawk that flies into your home? Or would you rather have a raccoon that comes into your home and is jumping all over the place, apparently able to swing on chandeliers? What would you rather have to deal with, the hawk or the raccoon? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Do they have a video of this? Oh, no. They don't have a video. Oh, but they got a picture. Oh, they got it with a glove. They caught that bugger with a baseball glove. Okay, I got you. I guess in that situation, I got to give that person props because, you know, you see people that are like, oh my gosh, I got a hawk in my home flying around. Let me grab my phone. I got to get it ready for my TikTok fans. And so this person's like, look, I don't want a hawk flying around my home. Go get the baseball glove. We got to get him. You know, and so, yeah, that's, man, that was a catcher's mitt, too. Maybe a first, okay. Yeah, so the staff thought it would be funny to then put a picture of what is happening outside of my house every morning. This is what I wake up to. Okay, I wake up to this. I got bald eagles, man. I got bald eagles and golden eagles. I got them all over the place. They're always coming by the house, man. Making sure, and they let me walk out like that. There's no problem. They are defending. They are defending the castle. People are like, do you have a moat? And I'm like, only around the back of the house. And like, why not the whole thing? I say, because I got eagles in the front. And these eagles are my homeboys, and they are totally defending me. They're like, sir, you are patriotic. And I'm like, no, you are. You are patriotic. Oh. Let's see. Teaching assistant mortified after missing rude detail on Christmas cardigan. Oh, you know what? Okay. What's the rude detail? I don't even know. This is not good. This is not good. Christmas jumpers have become a staple during the festive season. Have they really? Are they really a staple? Or yeah, look at this lady. She looks like she would be wearing a Christmas jumper. She looks happy, though. I gotta admit. She looks like she's having a very good time. It depends on what it's about. If we find out that this lady is TikToking, if we find that out, then we know that this is all a love for money. If we find out, on the other hand, that this is just the face that she had at a birthday party or something, then she might be legit. She might be legit. Yeah. So let's see here. But grandmother Carolyn Hallam, 53, got more than she anticipated with her festive knitwear this year. Oh, okay. So there she is, the bargain hunter grandmother, was left red-faced after noticing her 50p Christmas cardigan featured a... Dude, okay. If you only saw, like, it depends on how they... It depends on how they fold it. It depends, and maybe it's not what you're thinking. Maybe it is not what you're thinking. Maybe it's like, you know, the other one's getting ready to jump up in the sky. Oh, it's doing like what the, you know, what do they call that, man? When the horse is, it's doing that kind of thing. You know. No, it's not, dude. It's, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait, but it's kind of like on the side. I can imagine, you know, maybe not seeing that, and maybe not even thinking, being like, that's kind of a cool design. You know, I like, you know, it almost looks Native American a little bit. The top a little bit, and the bottom looks a little bit like that. And my mom had stuff like this. And so I can imagine, and I can imagine, you know, sending it back, saying, number one, for one, let me ask, what site did she go to? Did she go to Spencer Gifts or some crap? Who would even sell this? Featured, yeah, okay. Christmas card. Where is it here? It doesn't say where she bought it. She found it as a bargain. Where did you find it? Where did she find it, man? It doesn't say, does it? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. See, this is where you got to say, I don't know if I believe this lady. She could have made it by herself. She could have, guys. She could have. Luckily, Grandmother Carolyn, who works at a primary school, noticed the detail before heading into school. Holy cow. Miss Carolyn, what are those deer doing on your jumper? Like, what are you talking about? Those little kids, they'd be traumatized. It's like those little kids. What's the movie, man? Is it Kindergarten Cop? Where their faces, they'll go, and their face. No. It's like the kids at the mall in Mallrats when they see those dudes, Jay and Silent Bob, just punching the daylights out of that rabbit. Oh man, this is what you get for hitting Brody. And those kids are like, ah! That's what her kindergarten class is like. Oh, they're gonna have a real serious meeting, and all the principal and everybody, they're gonna be like, Carolyn, yeah, this jumper, I don't know where you bought it, but you're obviously, you know, what you do in your private life and what you do at home, it's your business. We understand. People have weird things that they're into. No, I promise I wasn't trying. No, listen. But you bring that kink into the classroom and you've got yourself, you know, some kind of a problem, obviously. I didn't do it on purpose. How could you not see that? Don't give me this crap. Don't give me this crap, man. Oh, dude. I can't even believe this. Can't even believe this. All right. Let's see this here. No, hold on. How are we going to do this here? Oh, no. Oh, the meeting now has unlimited minutes. Okay. Ooh. All right. Good. So, okay. Yeah, my Zoom meeting, because in about 8 minutes, we've got Joe Pacello from The Frontline with Joe and Joe. We got him on the show, so you're not going to want to miss that. We're going to be talking about an article that was done recently, claims that were made by a transgender activist. Basically, we need to make all kids trannies for now. Well, we need to put them on hormone blockers. We need to put them on hormone blockers because they have not made that decision yet. And by the way, that's the logical consequence. That'd be the logical extension of this wicked idea regarding what we call the video game in the brain. Right? This idea that we're detached from our biology, that it doesn't matter what you've been equipped with. It's a satanic notion. And the idea, you know, that the ideas that are fleshed out from that and the policies that will be fleshed out from that. We see that with things like, you know, it started, of course, the idea of bathrooms, and now it's going into pronouns, and now it's going into girl sports, and it's finding its way all over the place. But the extension of that ultimately is going to be exactly what this activist is talking about. I mean, so good luck. We have to fight that, or well, start giving little Jimmy and little Sally some hormone blockers. We're going to talk about it. It's okay here. Let's see. It's okay. Okay, so what happened? All right, I don't know if is there music? Oh yeah, I'm not playing that. Yeah, I got. Whoa, dude! Hold on a second. So she's got a gun. I don't know how I was distracted by Prince. Okay, so this lady, we're gonna put it on silent. I ain't gonna get playing around with that. She throws up the shoes. Blam, blam. Wow. We need more ladies like this. How many ladies, by the way? How many ladies tuning in? How many ladies tuning into this show? I'm just going through deleting some of these, man. Getting that computer back down. All right. Oh, wow. Okay, gotcha. All right, look at this one. Look at this one here. Let's see here. Hold on. Well, okay, this one, it kind of looks like that little girl that we saw before shooting that gun. We really liked her, though. She's a real winner in our eyes. So we're gonna see her. We're gonna watch this. We've only got a couple more stories, guys. Yeah. Blam, blam, blam. Oh, and look at what she's doing. Look at this. Boom. Come on, girl. Blam.
Hey, guys, listen up.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's the one where... Man, this little girl, dude, proud of her. Are you raising kids like this, by the way? Are you raising kids like this? Oh, my gosh. All righty, let's see here. What are we going to do? Mistaken for fossil. This is over at NDTV. Oh, Sonia Jane. So, okay, guys, look. Sonia Jane had not posted. This is amazing. She had not posted. Okay. Oh, is it? Okay. IST. Okay. What would that be? What would that be for us? International Standard Time. What would that be for this show, right? Because I had gone and looked up stuff about Sonia Jane and said, look, we used to have stories by Sonia Jane all the time over at NDTV. We had stories by her all the time, and then she just kind of vanished for a while. And I was wondering what's going on. Where was she going? I talked about it on the show, and then guess what? Right there, yesterday, and I'm wondering if it came up before or after the program, okay? But it says right here, yesterday she wrote, mistaken for fossil, grenade explodes inside. Does this look like a grenade? Ugh. Wow. Okay, so that gives a size idea, right? So it's about the size of this thing. Let's see, a mother and daughter duo in the UK had a lucky escape after a World War II grenade they unwittingly brought inside their home exploded in their kitchen. I posted photos of fossil and archaeology sites and had lots of replies, but no one suggested it could be a grenade. Oh my gosh, dude. They tried poking it with a hot needle to see if it would give out a puff of white smoke. So one person said it could be whale vomit. Okay, we saw some whale puke. We saw some whale puke. What did it sell? It sold for millions of dollars. Remember that? Oh man, and that's not a joke either, by the way. That's not a joke. So they're sitting there, and they said it turned into a fireball right inside their home. Holy cow! It burst into flames. They put the grenade into the kitchen sink and threw a wet towel over it. Does that work? Then they rushed upstairs to soak a towel, to throw it over, to put it out. The adrenaline must have kicked in and taken over. And then that bugger, blam! Wow. Holy cow. Fortunately, the grenade burned itself out in the kitchen sink. It burned part of the, oh my gosh, look at that. Burned part of the windowsill. Holy cow. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. All right. We're gonna do last one here. Last story, and then we are gonna go and we are going to get Joe Pacillo. We're gonna have him on the show. Okay, so don't go anywhere. You're not gonna want to miss it. We're gonna have a great conversation. We had a great conversation yesterday, and hopefully the audio is fixed with this. And then after that, we are going to do the Wolfpack song, and after the Wolfpack song, we're gonna talk about comments. We're gonna go through comments and then serious stories. So it's going to be a really good time. We got through a bunch of these great stories, but we got to keep marching forward, everybody. We got to keep marching forward. By the way, really, really grateful for all of you who are tuned in. Right now, 61 people, right? Well, the I, right, is saying 61 at the same time, which is always good. You know, you sit there and you say, well, you got people tuned in. Now, I don't know which one this is for. No matter what, man, I'm seeing numbers that are very nice, very pleasant to see. Super happy. You guys make me feel loved. And I know, in fact, that I am. I know I am. So, all right, last story, and then we are going to get to, let's see here. I got to admit him in. Let me see here. I'm going to get him in here. That way he kind of knows what's going on. I'm going to get him into the studio, but then I got to mute him here for a minute. Got to mute him just for a moment so that I can finish this story, and then I'll be right back. All right, I'll be back with you, Joe. So, personal trainer does 730 burpees in 1 hour for Guinness record. See, I would not normally believe this. 730 in an hour? Holy cow, man. Holy cow. But I guess there's a video. There would have to be. Now, this is the kind of thing, though, I must say. This is the kind of thing that I think deserves Guinness records. Okay, because we talk about some Guinness records like the guy that smashed a bunch of coconuts with his eye, you know, he's blindfolded. They twirled him around in a circle and put stuff in his eyes. And then they, you know, he had a guy's laying on the ground and a dude had to walk around on the ground to hit the coconuts, or the dude who's bouncing a ping pong ball off the wall and into his mouth. That guy, by the way, David Rush, is that his name? David Rush, that old boy, dude, he's gotten like a bazillion world records at this point. We've chalked it up to fame and fortune. People have tried to tell us that it's not really about that because apparently you don't get money for that. But I said, but the perks, man. But the perks. Okay? All the money, all the travel, all the TV shows, movie opportunities, ladies around you, right? Everywhere you go. I mean, you know, they're going to be like, oh, you're the ping pong guy. You're the ping pong dude. I've seen you, man. Like a lot of times. Personal trainer does 730 burpees. How many burpees could you do in 1 hour? I should challenge this just as a joke. Just as a joke. I couldn't even put a serious face on to say I'm going to do it. Couldn't do it for the life of me. Ontario. Yo, do Canadian, really? Wow. Yeah, she completed 730 chest to ground burpees in an hour. Allison Brown, she's 38 years old. Dang, girl. Wow. And she broke the world record on her July 12th attempt in the studio. Wow. That's crazy. It involves performing a push-up, jumping into the air before returning to the push-up position in 1 hour, beating the previous record of 708. Unbelievable. There's a video, but we're not going to go to it because we got to get cooking, guys. We've got to get cooking. And the reason why we got to get cooking is because we have Joe here. Hold on, Joe. Got to get you in. For one, I got to, let's see. Yeah, ask to unmute. Okay, so you can unmute yourself now, buddy. Let's see. Interview. Going over here, man. All right, let me hear you real quick.
I got to tell you, that not many are successful at muting me, okay? It's like making me keep my mouth shut. It said, you are muted. I was like, what? How you doing?
It's not possible, man.
I know.
Well, dude, it's good to see you again. We had a really great time yesterday, you know, and I went back and I was watching and I saw the Zoom and I'm like, man, we got to figure it out with the delay, with the lag. And so I had my wife call in. It's one of the reasons we actually started even later than the late that we normally start at. And so we were putting it together. I'm scrambling like, we can do this. So I'm really hoping, man, that it works out because, and I'm grateful. Not only that you came in, you know, when we're still kind of a pilot with that stuff, but also, man, that we just had a blast. I mean, you know, I thought we'd talk maybe for, you know, a good 20 minutes, half an hour. We talked way more than that, and I thought we could talk for a long time. I got to have this guy back, and in fact, with such urgency that I said, can you come back tomorrow?
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's snowing over here, so, you know, and I'm on lockdown because Cuomo took my job away from me. So, you know, I'm here for you and your audience. And like I said, moving forward, even if I do get back to work next week, I still make time in the middle of my day. I think I could pop in to the show for about a half hour. Would be a good thing.
Well, you said that it's snowing over there, man. You're in Jersey. You're close to the New York line, right?
Yeah. Literally just a few miles away from the Lincoln Tunnel. Like 5 miles from the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
without
Now,
traffic.
Are you able to see the city from your home? Like, are you that close?
Not last night, I wasn't. I was downstairs in the parking garage, which I have a really good view of the city. I was downstairs in the parking garage having a smoke, which I need to quit. I only have a couple a day because my wife says so. See, I listen to my wife. I was having a smoke
Yeah.
and I was looking out at the city, which I can normally see. And I was like, man, it's dark out here. And the snow just completely covered the lights of the city. I couldn't even see the New Jersey Turnpike or Route 3 or any of the highways. Nothing, no lights from the city. It was kind of eerily beautiful, if you know what I mean. You know, it's like with the snow coming down, it's very kind of quiet. And but yeah, but generally speaking, I can see the city.
And you've got snow. See, this ain't right, man. This ain't right. I'm in Michigan. And all we've had so far this year, we've had flurries, and that counts, but only if there's been many flurries and it stacks up snow on the ground, and then you can appreciate the flurries. Otherwise, it's like that's not even going to make the ground, cold enough to freeze up that it'll stick, and it bums me out. I'm like, this is Michigan, man. It's Michigan, so I'm jealous of you, bro.
And Michigan's not correct me if I'm wrong, not unlike Niagara Falls. And the reason why I mentioned Niagara Falls because I used to go there many times when we were growing up because my mother immigrated from Italy to Niagara Falls because that's where her siblings were before she came down to Newark, New Jersey. So we used to go up there all the time. So I've seen Niagara Falls and that general area in the wintertime. Yeah, you're right. You're supposed to get some more than just flurries. Battle Creek, man. Michigan, you're supposed to get piles and piles of snow.
Well, I'm originally from Battle Creek, Michigan, man. I'm born and raised there. But we moved to Grand Rapids, so now we live in Grand Rapids. We still have family, though. We go down, we visit Battle Creek, Cereal City, USA. We go down there sometimes. But now I'm in the beer capital. Okay, I'm in the beer capital, USA at this point. And so, it's been kind of cool, man. Growing up, you're surrounded by cereal as a kid, and you're smelling the cereal, production and stuff. You can smell it in the air. It was awesome, in fact. Mm-hmm. And then you're an adult. Right, you're well past 21. I think I'm like 23 now, right? And so I'm old enough to drink, and I moved to a place that makes fantastic beer. And we got a whole bunch of breweries all over the place. More breweries, I guess, in our city than any other state. Any other city across the United States. And so it's been kind of cool. Like you can try all different kinds. It's a good time. But I'm jealous of the snow. But I gotta say this before we move on. Okay, on a note of seriousness. Joe R. We need to pray, okay, as a wolf pack. And I mentioned this yesterday. You brought this up, man. And here at the show, we've prayed for people before. And I always tell people, if you got a prayer request, man, send it in. But Joe had a family situation that happened. If you'd like to say anything, you know more about it than I do, as well as maybe the limitations and stuff like that. But just let our audience know what happened yesterday to Joe R, to his family.
Yeah, Joe Resinello posted it on our Frontline page on Facebook, and I think on his personal page that his father, Frank Resinello, passed away after battling Parkinson's for the last couple of years. He died peacefully with Joe's mom right by the bedside. They were married 52 years. God bless them. He died in the sacraments. My wife and I are very blessed and very honored to have been able to bring him before COVID. We were bringing him the Eucharist after we got out of Mass, so we were able to bring that to him. So we're grateful for that. But yeah, you talk about a happy death. That's what we pray for. Frank Resinello, let's all pray for his soul. He had a happy death, and from what I understand, his mom told Joe he died with a smile on his face. So yes, if everybody could offer a prayer for Frank Resinello for the repose of his soul, that would be phenomenal.
It's a powerful thing, man. It's a powerful thing. When you brought up the smile on his face, when my daughter was dying, she died in our home because they don't have hospices for kids in Michigan. And it's one of those things. I mean, the entire experience sticks with you. I mean, it's my firstborn. It's I loved my daughter with all my heart. And we fought as hard as we could, cancer and stuff. And it was a wild ride, the life and the death of it all, and the aftermath. But that night, the last night that she was here, we're sitting around. She's in a coma, and we're all sitting around. We're having family conversations, and we're all, without going into too many details, we've all been in different places, right? There's been divorce that divided the family. Some moved to Pennsylvania, some moved to California, and in that moment, they were all there, and we're all sitting around and we're laughing. And I was kind of the butt of a bunch of the jokes, but it was okay. In fact, it was awesome, and they were true, which was what made it funny, as they were true stories and stuff. And we're all sitting around laughing, and I remember looking over and I saw my daughter, and that belabored breathing that comes at the end with cancer like that, shutting down. And it's a hard thing to see, but for the first time after that, there was what looked like a smile. And I remember looking at her, and it was just like a twinkle in an eye kind of thing, or like a secret smile. You look at somebody across a room that's all crowded, and you see that person, and they just kind of glance and smile for a second. That's what it felt like. And then I went upstairs, and that night, in the morning actually, is when she died. And my sister was with her, my mom and my sister and brother-in-law. They came upstairs and got me, and I'm rushing downstairs. I mean, just super fast down these stairs, because I knew there'd only be one reason why my sister would wake me up. I said, "You ain't coming upstairs. You know I ain't getting sleep during this time. So the only way she's waking me up is if it's bad." And so I go downstairs, and I'm freaking out. I go in the quiet room where I can hear people crying. And I scream at everybody. I said, "Get out! All the way, go!" And I screamed at them. And everybody left, man. And everybody's like, "Yes, yes, yes." And they're all running out. And I closed the door, and I got my hand on the edge of the bed. I'm shaking, man. Just completely out of, my heart, it's a wicked place. And right as I'm ready to roar, I look up, man, and she is smiling, brother. She is straight up smiling in death. And so when you said that he died smiling, I'll tell you, for a lot of people, they don't have that. For a lot of people, when they see it, it's something that's nightmarish. It's already a nightmarish situation. Nobody wants to lose a loved one, especially a dad or a daughter or a son. I mean, that's when you told me about it, man, my heart just tore to pieces. So I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful not only that you were there bringing the sacrament to them and being part of that, man. It says a lot about the camaraderie you got and the friendship you got with Joe, by the way. And so I'm really grateful that you...
Bond. Very strong bond.
So I'm really really glad that you brought that up. So, okay. We got to talk about this story, though, brother. We got to talk about this story. We were going to talk about it yesterday, is what we were going to do. We were going to talk about it because apparently there is an LGBT activist, right, calling for all children to be put on puberty blockers. Now, I saw the article it was all over the place, but I went over to the summit.news. Paul Joseph Watson wrote this. But have you ever, first of all, have you ever had a conversation with this particular activist?
Who, us?
Yeah, have you? I have. I've had a conversation with this activist, right? Yeah.
Really?
I used to be an atheist, man. I was an atheist activist.
Oh, that's right. That's right. See, we're learning something about each other there, Jeremiah. No, never have. And I'm sorry to say, I never want to. I mean, I just, I hate to sound that way, but the thing is, I'm not like, let me just, I'm just gonna give your audience just a little flavor for what's going on. And this is one of the things that we got to talk about is the way I consider myself a pretty intelligent guy. I went to college. Okay. I'm fairly well read. I know a little bit about a lot of things. Okay. But this stuff makes my friggin' head spin. Okay. Just to give you an example for you and your audience. So the person in question here is Zachary Antelak. Okay. Now catch this, man. And this is for your audience too. You just tell me what's going on here. Zachary Antelak began as a gay man, but now identifies as a lesbian woman named Zinnia Jones, and is in a polyamorous relationship with another lesbian named Heather and a trans woman named Penny. Now, do you have a mathematical equation that you could write up on a board that helps me to keep track of all this? And on top of it, if you get any of it wrong, that you could be accused of an act of violence towards them because you either misgendered them or you called them by the wrong name. But you make it as confusing as you possibly can. I think they do it by design so that when we do slip up, they can go, hater, you're a hater. And that's what you're dealing with here. And Zachary, Zinnia, Okay. Again, I don't know, is calling for all children, capital ALL, all children, to be put on puberty blockers until a decision is made as to what gender they're going to be. And we don't live in a
Yeah.
bizarro world. At what point, Jeremiah, do we say we know that there's people out there, natural law philosophers, Catholic theologians, combination of the two, okay, that can make a very intelligent argument against this. But at what point do you just get a little street about it and say, this is a bunch of BS, man? I don't need to make an
Well,
argument about this. This is a bunch of BS.
I was saying earlier, man, I said it's a bunch of BS, but it is the logical extension of what they're saying. So, like, if people, this is why it's dangerous for groups that, let's say organizations, scientific organizations, ones that still believe in their policies, in the way that the stuff that they publish, they still believe that there's a biological connection, that we still have a binary, and yet their signaling is always reaffirming this. So when it comes to PR, they don't want to get thrown under the short bus. They're afraid of the short bus, and so they don't want to anger any of these people. But at the same time, they're out there and they're publishing stuff that's still affirming what we know biologically to be true. But that signaling, it instills within people who may not be able to read and if they attempt to understand scientific literature and stuff like that, that they're going to believe the PR. And that's what this is about. And so you sit there and you say, okay, if you believe the PR that children are kind of this blank slate, and blank slate is unscientific. I mean, it's another one of those things. But you're born in a blank slate, and you, as you get older and as you develop, and by older I mean maybe you're 4 years old, maybe you're 4, and you're at that place where they're like, well, I think that they're at a place now where they're able to make a decision about their gender and what that means, and you say, okay, what's the logical extension of that? One of the logical extensions would be, if that's true for them, that would seem to apply for everybody. And if it applies for everybody, that it's wrong and even violent to assign what they call assign gender. And if we say, okay, well, we're not going to assign gender, then what she's saying would actually make sense, in much the same way that a lot of people will begin talking more and more and more about the sexuality of children, defending things even like cuties and stuff like that, because they'll say, well, wait a second, they know about their gender, they know who they're attracted to, they know their sexual expression and stuff like that. If that's true of them at that young age, and they can make a decision to get their willy cut off by some freak doctor because in their brain they're playing that game, if that's the case, why couldn't they, instead of getting it cut off, why couldn't they, hook up with little Sally? Or Big Sally that used to be Sam, Samuel. And
remember something,
exactly.
Jeremiah. None of there. Whenever you think there might be a limit to any of this, keep in mind, it's a good thing to keep in mind. It's just a general rule in this culture war. They have no limits. See, what you're describing are limits, but these are not people that recognize any boundaries or any limits or any rules or any laws, particularly the natural law. Okay. So when you think this is okay, how much further than this they could go? You wait, like you said. Can an 11-year-old girl then go out and have sex? Not only with another 11-year-old, what about with an 18-year-old? If the 11-year-old consents to it, okay, I'm sure that's coming. In other words, I mean, if it's not far-fetched. We already have NAMBLA, so that's a real organization that exists that promotes homosexual sex between grown men and post-pubescent teenage boys. Okay, that's acceptable. If you blast NAMBLA or say like, well, we got a little bit of a problem with this. Okay, they'll say, well, we accept this. So what's to stop I mean, girls usually achieve puberty younger than boys, right? I think I'm scientifically or biologically correct in that. So 11-year-old girl could be post-pubescent. What's to stop a 22-year-old from having sex with her? And the law saying that she could give them consent. Nothing, at least as far as these people are concerned, there will be no boundaries. There will be no limits to where this could go. I also wanted to mention to you, when you think about it, that at the end of the day, what we're talking about here are natural processes. Obviously, a child developing, getting to puberty, becoming an adult. Okay, does it ever strike you? Sure, I'm not the first one to say it. I'm not a genius. But the attack on nature itself, because that's what this is. Hitting a kid with puberty blocking drugs and all these hormones and this and that, and like you said, snipping things off. It's all an attack on nature. Does it ever strike you they attack nature? Because what they're not really attacking nature, what they're attacking is God himself. See, because when you say something is natural, a child gets to puberty, becomes an adult. Obviously, you say, well, God made it that way. Because we see it reflected in nature, and it's common to all human beings. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so then when you attack that, then you obviously are attacking the one who created that, and that's God himself. And ultimately, my view, Joe's view, I'm sure you agree, the attack is never against us. The attack is never against nature. It's always against God, because these people, at the end of the day, have embraced these diabolical ideas and want to promote them. So the attack is always against God in all of this
Always,
stuff.
yeah. And it's so perverse. It's not just perverse intellectually, right? We have this rampant sexual perversion and the kind of chaos, you know, that you say, okay, so it's like they stack it up. You know, I used to be a man. I was physically a man, but I'm claiming that I was not a man that entire time. And now I am a woman, and you better call me by this porn star name, which is almost always the case. And then I'm going to be in a relationship that if let's say that I'm with a woman, I'm now going to even change the definition of that relationship. I'm going to call it lesbian. And so you're even affecting the nature of what would be otherwise a man and a woman. They'd still be straight people. It'd just be a very confused guy, like, you know, the guy trying to get out of the military and MASH, but who takes it, you know, really, really seriously. But saying now I'm a lesbian. And then if it's a woman who's saying that she's a man, now you're in a straight relationship instead of a, you know, I mean, and so the whole thing is messed up. Then they throw on top of it the notion that we're just free loving it up, as if we haven't learned anything from history, you know. And when they attack nature, they're attacking nature's God. But look at the way, you know, you bring a great point, man. Look at the way that when I remember when the arguments began, a lot of these arguments about greater acceptance and not just tolerance, but celebrating it. It would be, you know, we find a certain percentage of the animal population finds itself, you know, boys and boys and girls and girls. And it was always this margin that would be very small. Let's say, you know, anywhere from 1% to 3%, something really, really small. And you say, okay, so it's a very small number of animals who have this issue going on with them. And they would say, yes, but it shows that in the animal kingdom, that's the case. But now it's gotten to the point where in some nations, you're talking about Israel, what is it, 8%? Something like that in Israel. I mean, you got you know, people who identify as gay. And so you've got all these people, or 8% of men, maybe that's what it was. But no matter what, you have numbers that are way beyond this. And in high schools now, in colleges now, self-identification is through the roof. And they're saying statistically, the probability of that, if it was natural, using the argument they had before, it's obviously phony baloney. And then they say, well, none of that matters. And you're like, but that was the gateway.
Right.
That's how we got here.
And they're very sinister. Yes, sinister. Because they're going after, they know what they're doing. They're increasing that percentage you're talking about by going after kids and making you accept it. No, so let's say, for argument's sake, in the public education, the public education establishment, okay, we're coming after your kid. You're going to accept it. We're going to teach you 5-year-old Johnny that he could be 5-year-old Janie if he wants to be. You know, it's like they ram this down your throat and they try to push those percentages. The problem is that, and this is where you talked about reading about the science, reading about people's actual experience. You're talking about that margin that they push and they push and they push. When they buy into it later on in life, these people are wrecked. They're wrecked physically because of the hormones and the surgeries. They're wrecked emotionally. Okay, they're wrecked mentally. Just ask Walt Heyer, who's a God bless this guy. He's out there. He was lied to. He says, I was lied to. My grandmother dressed me up when I was 4 years old in girls' clothes. And when I went to a doctor at 18, I told that to a doctor, and the doctor says, that's irrelevant. He said that was a lie. So they get to the kids when they're young, and then the thing is, and they push that number, like you said, even if you could account on a very small scale, in other words, abnormalities in nature, that might produce some of this tension within the individual person. They're pushing it to 8 and 9 and 10%, like you said. All of that is pushed and heaped on kids, and they don't know how to process it because they start when they're below the age of reason. And then what they have in their wake is suicides. They'll never want to talk to you about the suicide rate in this community because that'll blast a big gaping hole in their argument. But they don't care about the people who blew their brains out or jumped off a building. All right. They never want to tell you about those people, how they wrecked those people's lives. Okay. Knows how they lied to them, how mutilated bodies and like I said, and all the destruction that this type of stuff leaves in its wake. And it's so, like I use the right word, it's sinister. It's sinister, man. And by the way, just so you and your audience know, because this is my view about people who are sitting on the fence. There's no fence sitting in this. There's no, oh, why can't you just let people love one another and be who they are? Okay. But and the person says, yeah, I believe that because I'm on the fence. I'm in the middle. Like, is that some sort of a courageous place to be? All right. I'm in the middle. Okay. Until it's your son that comes home when he's 5 years old and says, Daddy, I think I'm a girl because teacher told me. You're going to still sit on the fence when that happens? Or are you going to go down there and want to wring the teacher's neck? I'm going to go with the latter on that one. You're going to want to go down and wring the teacher's neck.
Well, and they're taking kids away. They're taking kids away. There are people who they're saying, look, my 6-year-old, my 5-year-old, you know, I'm not recognizing, I refuse to recognize that this is a boy or girl. In fact, they're wiping out tomboys, by the way. That's another category of person that they're just completely wiping out. And they're saying, oh, it would be like saying, and this is unfortunate, but like saying, oh, you're a ballet dancer and you're a boy, you must be a raging homosexual. That's offensive. Right. That's offensive. Ballet, you know, so you sit there and you say, there have been some manly dudes doing some ballet. The idea that just because you're into that particular thing, that's a grotesque stereotype. And you say, it's the same thing with tomboys. Oh, you got a girl who's outside playing with frogs. So that means that she wants to, you know, be into, you know, be a boy and to have her breast removed when she's older. What a crazy leap. And people can say, well, no, it's not going to go here. It's not going to go there. Number one, we're already seeing it. We're already seeing it flesh itself out in law. You know, and not just in the United States, but around the world in some of our Five Eyes friends, right? Our allies, in fact, we're seeing that. And we're seeing more and more on the left, especially with Great Reset stuff, saying these international bodies that and our international community needs to be more involved in helping, in fact, to set some of our not only priorities, but the way that those priorities are put into policy and law. And so you say, this is troublesome. And when...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
No, I would say as an example, as an example of what you're talking about, I would encourage your audience to go look up Bill C-16. C like Charlie 16. It's Canadian law. Okay. If you want to see where this is going and you want to see what the consequence is for those who try to help these kids, particularly their parents, go take a look at that Orwellian legislation. Okay. That's it's either been passed or it's going to be passed soon and signed into law by the diabolical Justin Trudeau. Okay. When a father who takes his child out of Canada to bring them to a therapist in the United States because Canadian law prevents conversion therapy and they come to the United States, if the government finds out about it, that father can have that child taken away from him and the father could go to jail for 5 years. Okay. Because Canada says you cannot convert back. By the way, I thought it's all about choice. I thought it's all about freedom. If a 13-year-old kid tells his father, Daddy, I know I'm sorry. I know I'm born a boy. I had this delusion that I was a girl, but I need help because I know that I'm a boy. If the father tries to help his own son, his father could go to jail. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And this is what we're dealing with. You have the case of the girl. Her name is named Kira Jones, I think. She was also, I believe, in Canada. Same thing. She's 23 years old. Mastectomy at 17 years old. No sort of psychological evaluation at that time. She said, they lied to me. She's 23 years old. She's trying to transition back because she's been mutilated. She's lost a very major part of her female anatomy because they lied to her. Okay. No, so now she's become an activist for the other side. People need to step up. They need to start telling the Justin Trudeaus of the world, absolutely not. And in America, Listen, if it happens, remember, if it happens in Canada, it usually happens out in the Pacific Northwest. So if it happens there, it'll start in Washington and Oregon, trickle down to California, and then the rest of us are going to be subjected to that.
You know, last thing here, man. Last thing, I want to just get your idea on this real quick. So many of these situations, like there's the one, I forget what it's called. It's not called Tranny Land. It's something, something along the lines of that, though. It's an HBO, I believe it's an HBO series or documentary, and there was a clip recently that was shown that has basically it's a cult. Okay, it's got a priestess up in the front wearing the rainbow stole and crap, and so she's all up there doing her priestess thing, and brings people up. And it's got a woman and a son. And that son is going through the affirmation stuff that even the Episcopalians are doing now. It's almost like a rebaptism. Essentially, it's what it is. They're giving that person a new name. They're coming up and affirming in front of all the people, yes, I am not who you thought I was. I used to be Billy, and now I'm Barbara or Brandy. And they come up and make that affirmation, and everybody, and they give them little flowers and stuff like that, dressed in a dress and everything. But in that situation, I didn't see the dad. I saw the mom go up there, and this kid's real young. I mean, there's no way this kid even knows what the heck's going on. Same thing when you see a lot of the drag kid or the drag kid stuff, and you see a lot of the drag queen story hour stuff. When you look at the crowds and everything, you're seeing a lot of single parent homes, and a lot of them are being raised by mommy. I mean, that's what's happening here. And I'm wondering what you think the impact of broken homes is on this, and the impact of weak or non-existent or these dads who may be present but they're still non-existent, if you know what I mean. What you think that has on this particular situation, not only on the kid, right, but the societal acceptance of what we're seeing with this.
When you talk about all these disorders, and yes, that's not a judgmental statement because, medically speaking, scientifically speaking, these are disorders, okay? Starting with same-sex attraction. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know this. If you go down to the root problem, which usually starts with same-sex attraction, mixed in with these different things that they're being told, E. Michael Jones makes a good point, okay? And again, I don't have the exact numbers. He said with the studies that have been done, when you look at homosexuality, when you look at particularly homosexuality, okay? Joseph Sciambra, who came on our show a couple of times, said the same thing, okay? When you look at this issue, which starts with same-sex attraction and then produces some even worse fruit after that, there is over 90% of the time, it is a ruptured father relationship or an absent father. That's a fact. That's not religious dogma. That is a fact, okay? Why, Jeremiah, does conversion therapy work, okay? Conversion therapy works because the therapist will affirm the patient and the person seeking to revert back to their biological sex in this case, let's say manhood, where because they didn't have that from a father presence or a ruptured relationship with the father. Father could be in the home. Father, it could be a husband and wife could be married, but what about if the father's working 16 hours a day? What about if it's more important for him to make money than go to his kid's football game or his t-ball game or all these different things? So it's either ruptured or absent father presence leads to all this stuff. Again, I'll rely on E. Michael Jones because he knows a lot more than I do. And he said, that's what you see in all of this. Lack of fathers and the mothers. I'm sorry, some of these mothers need their head examined. I mean, it's one of the biggest problems out there. When you see so many of these broken kids, confused kids, they're being affirmed vastly more often than not by their deluded mothers and affirming them in this. And I'm telling you, that's one of the reasons why I told you yesterday, Jeremiah, that's why we're doing our show. That's why you're doing what you're, part of it is the evangelization and the strengthening and the encouragement for men to start stepping up and say, and even to their wives, say, listen, that like the guy in Texas, even though they were in the process or had gotten divorced, to say to his wife, back off, to really maybe do a little BLM stuff and Antifa stuff. When these cases are going on in courtrooms, have 100, 200 people in the courtroom, letting the judge know we're not going to be happy with you if you advance this diabolical agenda. We don't do that. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. The fact is
No,
yes.
your
answer is
you're answering it, and
yes.
I agree with you, man. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that one of those things we've talked about it here. We're talking about a constructive program instead of just watching drive-by stuff and just pointing at the wickedness. Like we said yesterday, right? The left hands it to us on a silver platter, loaded up every day, but they're also kind of hoping maybe that we gorge ourselves on it and just get fattened up and get entertained and amused by the craziness of it without putting together some kind of a program. Because the fact is, they have they have a program, they have ideas for cultural dominion, in fact domination, not true godly dominion but domination. And so talking about what can we do to fix this sort of thing, what can we do, and so that's how we'll end. I want to ask you is the last thing. I know I said the last thing before, but one more thing with you, man. I love talking to you, you're a great guy. But I want to pick your brain. What can we do? What are just two or three what you think are the most fundamental things that we can do as parents or as Christians to really not just simply keep this thing at bay, but provide the alternative, and to get it out there in a way that makes an impact on this essentially what is a charge against us. I mean, we're seeing that the savages are in the gates, man, and they're not in the gates. They're not only in the gates, they're literally right over top of us, breathing, and their fangs are in our face. What can we do to begin not only pushing back, but to assure that it's not a momentary, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but that we're continuing to press forward?
I think the main thing is we have to embrace the idea as individuals and families, and particularly as men, we have to embrace the idea of sacrifice. Now, what do I mean by that? We have to start giving our time. Again, we mentioned yesterday when I was on the show, the principle of subsidiarity. You're not going to change the world, but you can have a tremendous impact in your local area. Okay, that's why the church teaches about subsidiarity. Okay, you can make a difference in where you live. You can make a difference in your town, in your city. You can make a difference where you start to organize. Look, I don't know a town in the United States there's not a Catholic church. Start in the parish. Start in your parish, okay? And start enlisting men in your parish to start keeping an eye on local politicians. Start there. Just start there, okay? Because guess what? If in one town in Bergen County, New Jersey, you're doing that, in another town, sooner or later you start to come together and you form a coalition, and then with another town, and that's how it could start to metastasize, okay, in a very powerful way. I think the main thing is, first of all, get off the fence. Don't think this stuff is not going to affect you, because it will. That's number one. Number two, start organizing on a local level. Start doing what we're doing now, getting the message out there, number one, boldly, showing people you don't have to be afraid of these bullies, because that's what they are. They're worried about the LGBTS crowd getting bullied. They're the bullies. That's a conversation for another time where we could talk about projection that comes from the left. They are the bullies. So start encouraging other men in your area, in your parish, in your neighborhood, in your town, to start to say, we need to start taking control of our local politics around here. Okay, we need to go down. We need to know what bills are passing. We need to know what's going on in the schools. We need to know what they're teaching. Okay, and we need to start forming a resistance, and then not just a resistance, but as you said, no, we're going to resist, then attack. We want this out of the schools. All of it, by the way. Sex education in general needs to be taken out of the school. All of it. You took prayer out. Okay, fine. I got to live with that. We're taking sex ed out. Sex gets taught in the home. So responsibility, we have to take the responsibility to teach our kids. Here's a number of things. I think the first thing I would say is obviously pray. Second of all, get involved in a local level and start to organize within your own communities. Find out where the problems are in your own area. And then once you identify that, then start to do something about it and hold people accountable. If that means knocking on doors of your neighbors and letting them know what they're teaching their daughter and their son, most people are going to say, I don't want my daughter or my son. I didn't know that. Remember, a lot of it is ignorance. A lot of it is done in the dark of night. They don't let you know what they're doing. So I think that would be a very good first step. That's a whole other conversation that you and I could have for 3 hours about all the different things we do. But I think number one, fear not.
Yeah.
Number two, get out in your local area and start talking, particularly in Catholic areas, start talking to men in your parish about what's going on and educate yourself as to what's going on in your local area and start to resist it and attack it.
All right, man. Very grateful for you, man. I'm very grateful. And make sure, again, let people know real quick, man. Give a shout out, not only for the show Frontline with Joe and Joe, but also again, once again, just a reminder about Joe R, about his dad. So just real quick, let people know how they can find more about you and about Joe and about your program. And a quick reminder again to pray for Joe R's dad.
Yes, and thank you, Jeremiah. I thank the Wolf Pack for having me on the show, and yeah, we're going to have a very, very fruitful relationship moving forward. Joe's father's name is Frank Resinello, and so if you could pray for him. Joe's doing well. Obviously, like I said, his father was suffering for a while. This wasn't sudden. When my father died, it was a little different. That's 15 years ago, where it was sudden. Joe was prepared. God bless him and his family and his mom. But please pray for Frank Resinello. Also, you could follow Joe and I at the Front Line with Joe and Joe on both Facebook and YouTube. Jonathan Ross, we mentioned him. You could also find us on Holy Faith Media, and we would encourage the Wolfpack to like, subscribe, and share. Do all that fun stuff. And you also have our email, which I believe is posted on our Facebook page. But either way, it's the Frontline with Joe and Joe at gmail.com. You'll see it on a lot of our recent videos. Jonathan's been putting our actual email up there. So if you have any questions or topics, suggested topics that you'd like to hear us talk about, let us know. So that's pretty much where we're at, brother.
All right, bro. It's good. I hope you have an amazing day. And I hope that some of those flurries make their way over to Michigan and we can enjoy some of that winter fun. But no matter what, I've really appreciated your time. I hope you have an amazing day. And we'll see you again soon, buddy.
You do the same, Jeremiah. And we'll talk over the weekend, brother.
All right, man. God bless you, brother. Yep.
God bless you, brother.
All right. All right, man. Super, super grateful for all of you. And I got to say, love that guy. Love that dude, man. What an amazing guy. What an amazing fun time. And, I can't wait to have Joe Resinello, to have him on the program. Okay. And it's so funny the way that the chemistry that they have. And what's really cool about it is that, because they're different, man. They are. They're different dudes. They're different dudes. But you need that. You need that for a show of that nature. But they have a great time. And the chemistry is awesome because you can tell that they're not just co-hosts, but they're actual friends. And, when he told me yesterday about Joe's dad passing away, it was heartbreaking. I thought about it. I thought about it throughout the day and how hard it would be for me. My parents are getting older. I don't want to say they're getting that old. They'll be like, we're only in our 60s. And I'm like, I know, but it's getting older. It's close. It's close. You guys are you're on the edge, man. You're on the edge. And the thing is that, but no matter what, it'd be really devastating. Just the idea of even getting the news about that. My grandmother, when she died, my mom's mom, when she died, I was so devastated. I remember I was at college and I heard it, and I was on the cell phone. It was one of those moments where it's like your cell phone would drop to the ground, like in a movie. It's like, oh, and you're all just, all over the map, disoriented. I was so disoriented. In fact, I was weeping. I didn't know where I was, basically. It really hit me hard, and it was kind of a sudden thing for me. I didn't know all of this was going on. I didn't know, kind of what was going on with her leading up to that. So it was devastating. So make sure, definitely pray for Frank, the repose of his soul, and just, how happy, how in fact grateful and even blessed the family is, to have been prepared for this, right? Not only with the years of Parkinson's, but even the way that it was the decline there at the end, and that he died with a smile. I'll tell you that it's a rare thing, and it's one of those things I can speak of from experience to say I know how special that is. So, okay, guys, we got to move forward. We got a whole bunch of amazing topics to talk about, but as we do every single day, you got to get your glass and raise it high to the sky, because it's time for the Wolfpack song. It's time for the Wolfpack song. Okay, and we do this every single day. Right? Coming together as a pack, as a group of people, coming together and resolving deep inside that we are going to give it our best. We have three positions here, right? One, deep down inside, resolving, never give up. Number 2, keep on smiling. And number 3, I'm working on it. Number 3, remember death. You're going to die one day. I'm going to die one day. But we are fortunate right now to be alive. And that's why we need to rejoice and be glad in it. We need to be happy warriors, in fact. We need to be willing to go into the breach. We need to be willing to do that. We need to howl at the heavens on the regular, crying out to God to make us better, to use us. Okay? Not in every area of our life, whether it's our family, whether it's our marriage. And I would have only added that to what Joe says. He's talking about subsidiarity and how do we fix a lot of these problems. It's got to start with you. It's got to start with your home. It's got to start with your church. So you resolve inside yourself. And this is what we do. We say, okay, maybe you're at work right now. Maybe you're at school. Maybe you're on the bus. Maybe you're in a taxi. Maybe you're driving in a car. Maybe you're breastfeeding a baby. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Maybe there's laundry in the house. Maybe you're cooking food for a party. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing right now, that you resolve that you are going to love the Lord. You're going to take a knee for Jesus Christ. And that you are resolved deep inside that no matter what comes your way, no matter how hard it gets, that you will continue giving him glory, subduing all things, subjecting them to the authority and dominion of Jesus Christ, who has all power and all authority right now, heaven and on earth. And to accept that commission to say, God, and not to treat every situation like a tool, right? But realizing that in fact, every situation is to a degree a kind of tool of dominion. And that you begin to see how those principles and ideas that you have and that you confess, how those things affect each and every part of your life, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's family, whether it's church, whether it's politics, no matter what whether it's art and music, it doesn't matter. Ecology, you name it. Every single aspect of your life. And that you realize you're part of a fantastic, fantastic kingdom. And so that's what we do. That's what we do here. And we do that by doing this. All right, everybody. Make sure to raise that glass high. Yeah. You got to raise it high, kids. Look at that guy. People watching the show. People howling at the sun. Time to go, so let's rock this right now. Ow! Hallelujah. Come on. We got this. Look at that guy go. Dancing around. Come on. 3, 2, 1, go. What an amazing day. It is to be alive. We are grateful. I love these people. I love you. Woo! Yeah. Oh, man. And by the way, I gotta say, absolutely love all you guys, man. In a seriously hardcore way. I do. Let's see. End meeting for, I'm gonna get out of there. End meeting for. Okay, stop confirming that. I don't need that. Stop. So, okay. I had to shut down the Zoom chat. Otherwise, it's going to be gobbling up some of my stuff on here. So, okay, here's the thing I got to say. Okay, number one, look at this. My mom reaches out. Hello from snowy Pennsylvania. Hello. Yeah, it's snowing there? Why isn't it snowing here? Although I got to say, we've been through Christmases before. In many, in fact, when I was a kid, I'd be sad if there was ever a green Christmas. And it totally happened. It's not always a white Christmas here. It's not always a white Christmas. Although I do miss the snowfall. I love it when we get a lot of snow, but only during this particular season. Okay, and not just ending at Christmas, because, well, yes, ending at Christmas, but not at Christmas Day, because we celebrate it as a feast. People are like, well, man, Christmas is over. And you're like, it might be for you. It's not for us. Okay, and some people get burned out. They're all saying Merry Christmas 24/7 for like 2 months. You're like, bro, why are you doing that? We don't do that until Christmas Eve. Then it is Merry Christmas. Okay, okay, people might say Merry Christmas. And if they do, hey, okay, you got me on that. And I'm grateful for that, in fact. I'm really grateful. And it's one of the things that I'll miss because I'm quite confident that even at the VA, around Christmas time, it is going to turn into, happy holidays again. Or don't say anything. Don't even say that. It's going to get bad. So, all right, let's see here. Going back to the comment section here. You are a wolf. It's true. It's true, Amber Dawn. I am, in fact, a wolf. I am part of the wolf pack. I am wolf. I like that. You are wolf. Of your pack, but Christmas star is Dawn Star. My name is Amberlyn Dawn Lionheart. Is that your real name, by the way? Lionheart? Holy cow. That's some strong stuff, man. I like, your family. Dang, girl. And Amberlyn. Isn't that pretty, guys? Isn't that pretty? Let's see here. Yeah. All righty, let's see. Onward, Christian soldiers. Claim it for your wolf pack. Yes, definitely. That's what, again, we do it all the time. People can say, oh, you've gotten real religious-y. Say, are you serious? Are you serious, man? I got people in the comments complaining, by the way. I got people coming, why aren't you getting to the point? You're sitting here talking about people doing push-ups and burpees. And I'm like, because if you look, again, let me state this for the bazillionth time. If you're one of those people that's like, I get on a YouTube video and I want to see what the topic says right now. If that is you, then you probably are going to be very confused by the show. You're going to be very confused. You don't even understand the format of the show. Okay. And if you're a newcomer, and this is the weirdo stuff, man. You got people, they show up, they see the name of a video and they get in and they're like, well, why aren't you talking about the topic that I want to talk about? Now, maybe we've already done that. That's happened before. People have tuned in and the topic we touched on earlier in the show, and that's what it is. And they're like, oh, when are you going to talk about this thing? And it's like, dude, it's a 3-hour-long live show every single day. You're just behind. You're obviously a legacy media person. It's what it is. You're a legacy media person. I get it. But, you're struggling a little bit. You're struggling. And why wouldn't you sit there and say, well, what is this show even about? I mean, if you're a drive-by person and you come in, well, I don't like that you're talking about the funny stuff. Like look at this person here, for example. Like, look at this person here. Denise. I've watched many YouTubers. This is bad. Oh, wow. You sound like somebody who really knows what they're talking about. You've seen many YouTubers. I don't know. Who do you think is good, by the way? Who do you think is good? You don't say. And that's why it's a troll, man. What a joke. This Denise person. They're like, oh, this YouTuber is bad. Dude, there's a lot of bad YouTubers out there. And who says, did I ever say, oh, this is the best show in the world? I mean, in a way, yes, obviously. Obviously, we all know it is. On the other hand, we know, we're honest about it. We don't have visions of grandeur. But I'm not going to allow somebody, oh, you've watched many YouTubers. This is bad. Okay, Denise, I guess I'll turn off the microphone. I guess it's over, guys. I can't do it anymore. Denise told me it's bad. Are you out of your mind, you weirdo? You're a short bus guy, aren't you? You're a short bus guy. I wish you were still around. I'd love to drag you around, the city of Troy for a while. I'd like to do that, man. Hook you up to the back of my chariot and just go riding around for a couple days. Let's see here. Tish Lee says, I love your show. You make life fun. And that's the other reason, man. I know for some people, I used to be the kind of guy too, man, a perfectionist. I used to struggle with I was scrupulous. And I would get down by stuff like that. I used to write poetry all the time. I have a lot of poetry. I've won an award for it, in fact. While I was in college, I got an award at Convocation. I've had my poetry published in 2 different intercollegiate journals. And so, but I remember one time I shared something and this person, wrote back and, commented. I had a bunch of comments and I had one person that said, I don't really like this one as much as your other ones. And for some reason, I was younger, but for some reason that really hit me badly. I don't know why. I don't know why it did. Perfectionism, I guess. Low self-esteem, I guess. And I used to be really concerned about that stuff. And I thought about it. I said, there's a point to constructive criticism. And normally it would have to be constructive, right? But I'm not going to get down anymore by people who say, well, I don't like your show. And I go, well, then go watch another one, you stinking weirdo. It's more than turning the channel, because you can turn the channel, and by turning the channel, dude, there's literally millions of different channels. Unbelievable. So get out of here, you weirdo. Hit the road, Jack. Hit the road, Karen. Let's see here. Going back here. Okay, so apparently somebody said that my video was a little bit messed up wherever I was. Let's see. Angela says she would totally go. Wait, what are you talking? Oh, you're talking about and by the way, it's nice to see you, Anna. It's nice to see you. She's talking about the story we did pertaining to whether or not would mothers and fathers, we were really focusing on moms because of the story, would you go to a play where your daughter or son, doesn't matter, your child has been cast as the tree? You know, whether or not there are parts or not, would you go, or would you say, I'm not going to go, I'm protesting it? And little kids crying, man. You know, maybe they love being the tree. Maybe that's what they wanted deep down inside. Or let's say they didn't. Let's say they didn't want to be the tree. And it's bad enough that they're going to be the tree. But now mom's not even going to be there because mom's some stupid douchebag. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Let's see. Bethany says, I have a friend that was enjoying her newly put up Christmas tree, and there was a snake slithering. No. You're lying, by the way. No. Oh. No way. No way. I got to get out of this one here. Hold on. Oh, my gosh, dude. Okay, yeah, a snake? You're lying. You know, by the way, you know. Snakes, spiders. I haven't had a spider crawling around in the office for a minute. I'm looking around now. I'm like, am I seeing anything moving? I don't like snakes. I don't like spiders. So you're telling me, it's slithering up the tree. I don't know if I believe you. You better give me some proof of that, by the way. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. It's slithering up to the top like an angel yesterday. It was whack. I don't even believe it. You can give me all those emojis. You see that at the top? You see that line of emojis? That's a distraction. That is a distraction. Okay? Because I don't even believe that unless you've got some proof. Let's see. Jesus of Nazareth, what's your favorite book on the Jews? The Bible. I'm serious about that, by the way. I'm very, very serious about that. Okay. Bridget Brightsman says, so what about Mysterious Meeting? I'm not hearing anything about it. The topic title doesn't match what you're talking about. Bridget! Do you guys see this, by the way? Oh, man. Oh, boy. Unbelievable. Yeah, this mysterious meeting. We're going to talk about, and by the way, what do you think the mysterious meeting is about? What do you think it's about? And Jesus Nazareth says, yes, the Holy Bible, as well as the Holy Bible. He says, Plot Against the Church by Maurice Panay. You know, I'm familiar with that. Read it. Let's see here. Oh, Rachel says that shirt that we showed earlier with the deer that we're doing, you know, the thing, you know, making some baby deers, making Bambi, that kind of thing, that sweater that the teacher had, the kindergarten teacher, that would be really bad, in fact, for a teacher. And it says, Zach, both those deer have antlers. Are you serious? Are you being serious, dude? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hold on. We got to see this. This ain't right. Let's see. We got to see. Mom refuses to go to. Okay, hold on. History, personal trainer. Oh, come on. And she's a teacher assistant. So all right, let's see. Do they have antlers? Oh, come on, man. Dude, what the heck, man? What the heck? And why you had to bring that up? Sicko. You're a sicko, bro. You're a sicko. Let's see. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Okay. Let's see. All I want for Christmas is for America to return to an organic society based on Catholic social teachings. We need an American version, okay, of the Engelbert Dulvas to lead us. Here's the thing, Andrew. I actually I got a book. I picked some of my own Christmas presents, to be quite honest with you, because I'm really peculiar about it. Although I'll send ones to my mom, but I kind of limit it, so I anticipate knowing a little bit of what I might get from that. Typically books that are a little bit more classical, older ones, you know, big tomes about politics and social teaching and stuff like that. But this year, one of the books that I got is Catholic Republic by Timothy Gordon, because I've taken a position for many years that the American Republic was founded more along the lines of what was described in the book Political Polytheism by Dr. Gary North, which is a scholarly work, by the way. I would love to hear the debate, a debate between the Mises scholar, right? He's won an award for his work on Rothbard, Dr. Gary North, and Timothy Gordon. I think that it would be a fascinating discussion and debate over that. Although, you know, he wouldn't be the first one to do it. Ryan Grant, apparently, they had a debate. To be quite honest, I have not seen it. I like both those guys. We have our disagreements on both sides of it. I mean, but we also have similarities. We things to do with our children. There's kind of a camaraderie there with that. They're great guys on a personal level. But I got the book because I want to know. I want to see. I want to see what he says about Catholic Republic and why America needs Catholic social teaching, or else it's toast. It's toast. Let's see. CF says Guardian Angel kept them from being blown to Kingdom Come. Talking about the ladies that picked up the thing that they thought was a fossil and turns out to be a bomb. Yeah, dude, really bad. Christine Ferroli says people are leaving your show as you talk about other crap. Here's the amazing thing. No, they're not. Did you take a poll, you idiot? Did you take a poll? Were you like standing at the door? Why are you leaving the show right now? Why are you no longer tuning in? And in fact, are people actually leaving the show right now as I'm not talking about other crap? Christine? All right, Christine? Christine's got to be one of those really annoying people. Sir, let me tell you, I came to hear a specific thing, and in your 3-hour-long show, I'm not hearing it yet. I'm out of here, and I know other people are with me. And I sit there and go, you don't know any of these other people. They might be leaving because of people like you. They might be like, oh my gosh, this person is a real weirdo. Person's a real weirdo. How annoying can a person be? Dang. Christine Ferroli. Holy cannoli. Get out of here, Christine. I don't need you. Again, if someone doesn't want to watch a long form talk show about many different topics over a long span of time, how many people are going to be like, well, I turned down Sean Hannity and he wasn't talking about a topic I wanted to hear for like 45 minutes. Whatever, man. It's a radio program. You turn it on, you turn it off. Man, what a weirdo, Christine. I feel badly for you, Christine. I do. I feel really badly for you. Elise says, Jeremiah, what you're saying to us is what I've experienced. That was talking about the loss of a child. And by the way, if that is what you're talking about, Chrissy, I'm very, 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 I'm sorry, Elise. If that's what you're talking about, the loss of a child, I'm very, very, my heart's broken for you. You have my condolences. And I'm grateful that you tuned in, by the way. Let's see, Chrissy S. says the chat area is horrible. Get a grip. He's getting to it. He's getting to it, man. Like, it's the long form. By the way, thank you, Chrissy. But what if I don't? What if I don't? In fact, that's one of the things I've talked about. I'm like, I don't like the idea of even putting titles with 3-hour-long shows. I mean, can you imagine if it's like the mysterious meeting at the White House and for 3 hours somebody's talking about it? Who's even going to listen to that crap? Who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Let's see. Elise says, I saw my sister-in-law and mother-in-law both pass away, and it was obvious that they were in such peace. This had a huge effect on my hard stance against euthanasia. I don't know what you mean by this. Let's see here. We're being chastised because we're trying to become God. Yes, I believe so, totally. Ailey's talking about hormones and hormone blockers. Hormone blockers would harm their growth. Yes, totally. Talking about kids, the transgender activist, right? Transgender activist that's out there talking about, we need to make all kids trannies sort of thing, or that all kids are by default genderless. They haven't figured it out yet, because they haven't figured it out yet, and it shouldn't be assigned that if they're developing a certain way, and you go, well, wait a second, but wouldn't that be that their body is in a default setting then? Isn't that the case? And they're like, yes, that is true. The body's going to do what the body's going to do, but the brain. And you're like, oh, but the brain's part of the body. What you talking about? What you talking about? And they don't even want to tether this. They don't want to tether it to any kind of physical stuff at all, because then you get in the world of, well, let me see your card. Are you in fact biologically that? Well, no, we don't want that. It's really about choice. You can make the choice on your own. It's ridiculous, man. Brian says it's a blatant attack on God, insinuating that God made a mistake and how that person was formed in the womb. I say the same thing, and it was going to probably be controversial. I say the same thing about the idea of circumcision. People are like, well, yeah, every boy that comes out with a normal, shaft kind of thing, we need to, cut off the skin around that. God made a mistake. For some reason, it's on every kid. Got to get that off there. And so I'm like, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. I don't wear it on my sleeve. I'm not going out telling people, getting in their faces and stuff. But if they say, do you believe in circumcision? No, I do not. No, I do not. And especially not for religious reasons at all. I mean, if that's the case, you may as well, castrate yourself. Let's see. Elise says, I was a huge tomboy growing up. Wow. Yeah, that's what this agenda, man. The agenda is all about. It's making it so that people are, you no longer have tomboys. Oh, you're a little kid and you're into playing with frogs. You're a little kid and you like going out and getting dirty and playing baseball and stuff. You're into that. Well, you're probably a boy. You must be a boy. And yet they're the same people. By the way, these are the same people that are out there saying, oh, we don't want stores to have boys sections and girls sections with toys. Man, they're wigwams of contradictions, man. Let's see here. Okay, yep. Okay, glad to see the back with the kids. All right. So, okay, well, we can go to this mysterious meeting. Where is this mysterious meeting? Where is the mysterious meeting? What did I talk about here? Let me see. Well, okay, we'll have to look for it here. Okay, so first of all, survey. Majority of U.S. voters oppose the globalist Great Reset initiative. This is a way that even Breitbart kind of plays into. It's true. But I want you to really go past that. It'd be easy to look at that and go, oh, the majority of Americans are against the Great Reset. Yay. And you go, whoa, wait. What are the numbers? What internally? Okay. Survey by Rasmussen reports, and who wrote this? John Binder. And the Heartland Institute reveals that about 53% of likely voters who have heard of the Great Reset oppose its mission. So 53%. That's bad, guys. Okay, who have heard of it, oppose it. To further integrate nations' economies, globalize American industries, and bind U.S. citizens to international climate rules. A minority of likely voters, 42%, who have heard of the Great Reset, said they support its goals, while 4% said, I'm not sure. Whether likely voters support or oppose the Great Reset is largely based on their political affiliation. Unsurprising. You're a Democrat at this point. And then this is what I'm saying. I was talking to my dad yesterday. It's hilarious. My dad doesn't watch the show. So yesterday when we're talking, he's like, man, I really think that you should, and he's right, talk about things like secession, for example, and the conversations that are coming up about secession that even came up with his people he listens to, right? Like Rush Limbaugh and people like, or Civil War, stuff with Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, that whole crowd, right? Mark Levin and them. And I told him, I said, well, first of all, I've been talking about this for years, in fact, about the cold Civil War. But more than that, I think it was my first or second show since I relaunched the program here at Holy Faith Media. I think it was the first or the second show that we were already talking about that issue. In fact, the shows that begin with talking about there's the civilizational decline, where the civilization that's falling apart, that's been balkanized, that they've gotten rid of their heroes, the ones where they said, well, we don't need a language anymore that unifies. We don't need tradition or religion or customs and courtesies that flow from those. We don't need any of those things to unify us. A system of morals, okay? A system of law. What do we base it on? These assumptions that even precede all of this. The assumptions, we don't need that. When that happens, your civilization is going to fall apart. And when it does, you got a civilization that's a model that is seeking to break through that, to emerge from that. And I said, when that point, and I do this right at the beginning of the show, in the highlight reel, when that happens, that's a flashpoint. That's super hot. That's where blood flows. We're there right now, and so I said, we've been talking about that. We've been talking about that for a while. And I said, we talked about it even more recently. We said, why did that happen? Because the worldviews get so far apart. They get so far apart that, on any issue within that worldview, there's just no commonality anymore. And it's not just commonality. We're talking antithesis, man. We're talking antithesis. You say, in one, there's God. In another, no, there's not. Or one God, Trinitarian God. The other one, maybe the G God with the coexist crap. One of those has given us revelation. The other one mocks revelation. One says that our ideas of the world, our ideas of ourselves, of others, of relationships, of law, of order, of all of this stuff is based on revelation, is based on what we can know about the world. And in fact, what the world is even reveals things about God, compared to the other side that says, well, we're just here on accident. Total chaos. Total chaos. In fact, even the order is arbitrary, maybe even unknowable in an ultimate sense. The idea, man, and so you sit there where they're playing Mr. Potato Head with words, and the other side is saying, no, words actually mean something. They're of great importance. Marriage is different. Gender is different. You name it, across the board. And so all of these things, these worldviews and life views are so dramatically opposed at this point. You're going to have this. And this right here is a great example. One, it says, okay, which side of the population, when you break it down, what side of the population supports the Great Reset? Unsurprisingly, it's the people who are finding themselves, if you go back in time and you say, wow, well, what's your lineage? What's your lineage? What's your pedigree throughout history? And you go, oh, Tower of Babel. Okay, great. Not surprising then. Satanism. Oh, I got you. Yeah, the idea, the whispering in the ear, did God really say that? Surely that won't happen to you if you do this and that. We know about you guys for a very long time. But it's even worse. 76% of Republicans say they do not support it. 72% of Democrats said they do support it. Swing voters, though, by a majority, oppose it. Unbelievable. I am grateful for this. A small minority of 13% takes the corporatist view that U.S. businesses' highest priority should be to benefit their shareholders and owners with large profit margins. Just 6% said that climate change should be the highest priority, and even less, 3%, said social justice causes should be the highest priority. This is the sad thing, by the way, when people talk about social justice. There is a dynamic of social justice that is inherent to any kind of Catholic social teaching, any kind of Christian social teaching. But it's like the rainbow flag a little bit, and it's sad. Maybe we need to come up with a new word because it's been taken over. It's been hijacked, and so successfully, in fact, that to say, well, no, that's not really the way it's connected. It's kind of like my liberal friends, my classical liberal friends, that make video after video insisting, look, please don't call it liberalism anymore because these leftists are not liberals. And you're like, I get what you're saying, but that's just like putting the LGBT rainbow flag outside and then being mad because people driving by are waving at you and going, hi, and thinking you're totally queer. It's the rainbow from, Noah. That's true, by the way. I agree with that. But the thing is, people didn't fight over that symbol, man. They let it get hijacked. And they weren't even in a place to fight. And that's what we're saying. We got to be in a place to fight. Are we in a place to fight this? Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan calls COVID vaccine toxic waste. I wonder, he's already in that place where he's getting censored left and right. Right? He is. There was a long time where he was kind of not in trouble for much. They were letting him say all these things, but he's a voice for a lot of people in the African American community, which is true. In the black community, a lot of black people, even black people that don't necessarily agree with everything that he says, still look to him. And by the way, by they don't agree with everything he says, you got to say the majority of black people don't, because at the core of his claims, the guy is ultimately the Messiah. Jesus is a prophet. This dude is the real Jesus. And most black people do not believe this. Not only in America, but in the world. I mean, this guy's like a, very small minority on that. But they're like, look, I'm willing to look past the idea that he thinks he's, Jesus and stuff. He doesn't technically, I don't believe anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that they actually have an idea of the afterlife that's the same as ours. They call it spooky. And that's just not true, most black Christians. But he represents them a great deal on other topics, which is why he can organize marches that are way closer to 1 million than a lot of the MAGA folks. That's why he's able to do it. And he's telling them, he's saying, look, there's COVID crap. It's COVID, the vaccine. You got pastors now. I was talking to somebody yesterday. Man. In fact, I'll just say it's my dad. It's my dad. I had a really good conversation with him, and it was heartbreaking because he told me, he said for the first time in his life, he went to a protest. He lives out in California. His business, by the way, is toast. It's gone. He was finishing up moving out. I worked with him, by the way. That affected me. I worked with him. I worked on the website. I worked on a whole bunch of things to do with that business, and that business is gone because of I refuse, in fact, to say it's gone because of COVID. That is a joke. Don't even talk that way. Give it up, man. Throw it out. We have to say because of the state's response to COVID. Don't blame COVID. Blame the state's response. They're not infallible. They've made terrible mistakes. It's evidenced, in fact, by grotesque hypocrisy. Don't let them win that word game. Don't play that with them. Decisions that were made affected. My dad, he packed up. How many of you, by the way, have lost your jobs? How many of you have lost your jobs? How many of you had a business that you worked and put your, blood, sweat, and tears into that business, maybe for many years, and you gave it everything you had, and you saw the greatest boom in service? My dad is what he said. He said, look, he knew that it would always get better and better. He worked at it really hard, but he said, man, the Trump years were the best. Economically, he said, man, I can't even tell you the amount of money, the boom, 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 all the time. We were growing by leaps and bounds. We were growing. And he said it was so sad because they got to this place where he said when we were originally told we just need a couple weeks to get down that curve, that's all we need. he said he told his staff goodbye. And he said, I'll see you in a couple weeks, guys. All right, yeah, we're going to go and we're going to do this for a couple weeks. And he said, that turned into 9 months. And he says, that was essentially our goodbye. They'll never come back. If he even opens his business back up again, it's going to be something done from his home. He had to give up the bus. He had to give up the bus. He had to give up the storefront. How many of you have lost those things? But more than that, he said, look, I'm going through depression. He said he went to a protest, and he was out at the curb, and he's standing there protesting. It's at night. It's after the limits. He's out in California, out in Palm Springs. And he says he's sitting out there, out on the street, and he's watching people pass by, and it's only supposed to be essential workers, but it's way more than that. And he says, as people are passing by, he says, you don't even know how many people are honking, supporting what we were doing, waving to us, thanking us. He said, it felt so good. And he says, then I drove home, and as I'm driving home, he says he passed a McDonald's, and he passed a Taco Bell, and he sees 20 cars in the line for one, 15 cars in the line for other. And he said, Jeremiah, why is McDonald's and Taco Bell open? Why are they allowed to be open? Why are they allowed? He said when he saw it, he said he broke his heart. He was devastated. He's sitting there, he's crying on his bike. And you shouldn't cry on a Goldwing. Unless you're loving life and you're feeling patriotic and you're remembering what it feels like to be American, Americana in its glory. But to be crying because you're seeing that these mega corporations, they're allowed. They're allowed to make millions, and you aren't even allowed to make enough to pay off the rent for your bus. You're not allowed to make any money to even stay inside the storefront. There are people like him, and I'm sorry to say this, there are people like him that this Christmas are going to blow their faces off. I got to calm down. He's depressed. He's depressed. Never been like this. He said never in his life. He said everything that he's worked for, all of it. He said, what is marriage, man? What are you going to do? You're starting over. What are you going to do? You're going to be an effing greeter in Walmart? What are you going to do? God, help me. Help us. It's so hard, and you look and you say, these places like Costco, these places like Walmart, these places like Meijer, these big corporations, the places like Amazon, all these places, they're allowed to stay open. And not just that they're allowed to stay open, but they're raking in more money than ever because it's funneling all of the resources to these places. There's never been a bigger sense of corporate welfare and the redistribution of wealth in the history of the world. There's never been anything like it. And look at all the mom and pop shops that are gone. And some, as I said, will blow their faces off. Some of them will be hanging on Christmas. They will hang themselves. They will take those pills. Because they'll say, what is my life worth anymore? And again, what are they going to tell us? What are they going to tell my dad? Well, maybe you could get into coding. Oh, have you thought about maybe being a greeter over at the Walmart? They're still open. You can be a greeter at Costco. They're still open. You can be one of the cogs at Amazon because they're still open, making billions of dollars. Making a fortune. Be a greeter. But that didn't even hurt him the most. What hurt him the most was churches. What hurt him the most was that so many churches have given up. So many churches, he said, Jeremiah said, it's unbelievable. He said, I cannot believe how many churches just simply gave the power to the state to make these decisions and never fought back. And that so many of them, even right now, they're not fighting back. They're saying, oh, you're telling us that we can't sing? Are you insane? They're telling us that we can't have a choir. They're telling us we can't sit next to each other. We can't give each other a sign of peace. We can't shake hands. We cannot hug. We cannot see their faces. We cannot sit next to each other. We can't have that proximity with the men's group. And they're telling us it doesn't make a difference if it's done on a computer. And I'll tell you right now, it's a lie. It is a lie. The people, shame, by the way, shame on any of these churches who says this. Read a freaking book. Read a book. I'll give you one right now. Check it out. See this? If you're one of those people that says it doesn't matter if you're watching your church and engaged in your men's group or doing any kind of community thing, it doesn't matter if you're doing it over a screen through a lens or if you do it in face-to-face person. If you dare to say that, number one, put the stole away. Walk out. You don't deserve to be vested. You don't. Get out. Take off that collar and throw it to the ground. You get out. You're dangerous. You're dangerous. Go be a greeter. Go be a greeter, by the way. There's a job for you. Because you suck at the job of leading the church. You suck at it. So sorry, man. You suck at it, though. You suck at it. Yeah, it's got a whole chapter dedicated to it. It's got a whole chapter, man. Shuffle off to Bethlehem. Let me see. Shuffle off to Bethlehem. Let me just read something here on this. And you got to know it's true. You got to know it's true. You got to know it's true. Let's see here. Shuffle off to Bethlehem. Talking about the impact of the video camera. In the idea, you always know it has an effect, for one, because there's a sense of awkwardness. So many people, I've said this before, I said it yesterday, I'm looking right now into a camera. Behind the camera is a corner and a wall. Do you know how awkward this is? You have to learn this. You have to learn to be able to stare into that camera and to have that conversation. And it's a weird psychology that says people want to be looked at. If I'm looking over here the entire time and I never look over at the camera, think of yourself, in fact. If I'm looking over here and I'm talking, you know that I'm being distracted by something. If I'm looking around as I'm talking and I never look at you and I'm talking here and I'm talking here and I'm talking there and then talking to you. The idea, though, right, is not just that it creates this funky dynamic within the person doing the talking, but it gives the idea of always wondering who's watching it and how they're going to feel when you're inside of a church or inside of a bar. Okay, it is why you're seeing more and more people talk about more and more people talking about how the revolution was in fact started within bars and within churches, because they would join together and they'd have these like-minded collectives, these groups that would come together. And they'd be able to talk and explain, not only to vent, but then to plot and to plan and say, look, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? But the idea is if you never know who are the people that are actually influencing the show, who are the people that are watching, what do they think of me? What do they think of what I've said? If you're within a closed environment and it's only the people going in there, you are going to feel much more comfortable speaking your mind. It's a harder thing to speak your mind when you're like, am I going to offend my mom? Am I going to offend my uncle over here? Am I going to offend some random person? Am I going to offend them? And by the way, Sanctus Vianney, what faith and religion does the host of this channel practice? We talk about Catholic social teaching. I am a very devout Catholic. We go to Sacred Heart. Our kids go to Sacred Heart Academy. And so, yep, we talk about that all the time. Okay. And by the way, you should, I hope you learn more about the show. You should definitely learn more about the show. And yeah, by the way, Cherie says there's safety in numbers and gathering in person. But, but it's not just that. It's the influence. It's the impact. Think about the impact that was had. This is all verified. It's not even a question. The impact that it has, that Google is able to rank searches. Just that by itself. If you're going on Google all the time, you're going on Chrome and you're doing searches and you're looking at, how many of you, by the way, when you do a search, How many of you guys get like upset because you're like, I was looking for something that was very, a very Christian thing, something that was uplifting, and all I'm getting is CNN and MSNBC and Washington Post and New York Times, and it's all stacked. I'm looking for a specific person or a personality, and I'm not finding it. Or you go on YouTube and the exact same thing. How many of you have tried to look it up, maybe even gone to a couple pages, saying, well, okay, maybe it's not on page 1. Let me keep scrolling down and scrolling down. How many of you have stopped? And how many of you sit there and that the long-term effect is that you do not feel that your searches on things that you like are as easy to find as they were before? And how often have you taken a long view assessment to say, well, okay, what am I subjecting myself to on the regular? Psychologically, on the regular. Like when what was his name? Doctor, is it Epstein? And I need to distinguish, right? We're not talking the Epstein, that killed himself. Wank, wank. We're not talking about that guy. We're talking about the one, the professor that talks about algorithms and how that affects people psychologically, how votes can be manipulated by the millions. By the millions. And you say, so imagine just even subjecting yourself to a place where rather than hearing a person talk to you about what a book says, instead you're watching something and you're prone to be distracted by all the different tabs. What's going on Facebook right now? Scroll, refresh, scroll. You don't even realize to what degree you've been impacted by this and to what degree the message of the gospel has been impacted by this. People say, they miss the idea that we used to preach hell from the pulpit and have heaven in the home. Now we have heaven from the pulpit and hell in the home. People talk about that. You want to know why that happened? By and large, because the triumph of television, because the triumph of screen time, because our inability and refusal to allow ourselves, number one, to be bored sometimes, to be bored without the passy in our mouth, the adult passy that we've got, by pulling out a phone and scrolling down. I'm kind of bored. I'm pulling up the phone. I'm not doing anything. I'm pulling up the phone. Take the passy out of your mouth. Be a man. Be a woman. Take it out of your mouth. Boredom is a thorn from God to get you to get off your tail and freaking do something. And start taking back the authority that the church has. The government, you need to take it, because what that does is it's going to funnel you into that world where you're going to be more influenced by what people who you think might be watching, who you think might be listening, who you think might see your post, who you think might not like what you're doing, than you would be if you went into a church and heard what your pastor had to say and talked with people around a table, sat next to them and sang next to them in your church. And yes, when you have bishops that say that the holy sacrifice of the Mass is not essential, when they say that sort of a thing, I'm sorry to tell you, it's demonic. And I don't even like, look guys, you guys know, people who tune into this know, I'm not a big fan of coming against the hierarchy. I try to be an obedient person in the church. I'm not sitting there throwing rocks, at the throne and stuff. I don't like doing that. But to sit there, I've watched, I've heard stories of people who die, they can't get the sacraments. The saints, what did they do? They went into leper colonies, man. They put their lives on the line. They went down, man. Do they forget? These people, Money Down says, you see people that talk like that, Money Down says they're not in a place. And look, it's a hard place. I'm not wanting to brag and say, oh, I'd be fine with it. But the idea, you can bank on it. You can bank on the idea that if that person was told, you're going to be put into the fire for the name of Jesus Christ, that person would say, give me the mark, I'm out. Give me the mark, I'm out. Well, that's a big one. They're not going into the catacombs. They're not getting arrested. They're handing it over to the state on a silver platter. And it's completely neutered the church. It's taken away all of the vibrancy, all of those graces that come through that. And it's left us at the hands of those who want us dead. Yes, and Catholic sacraments require proximity. It's unbelievable. And I look at this, and it just makes me want to puke in somebody's face. To sit there and say, George Clooney, he calls on the federal government to subsidize movie theaters after they were crippled by the pandemic in a powerful essay. Oh, a powerful essay. A powerful essay. Maybe. But, is he sitting? I mean, for one, okay, you guys are propaganda central. Propaganda central. And again, it wouldn't be surprising because you've got all of these mega corporations that are being subsidized left and right, while mom and pop were told, why don't you go work for them? They need a janitor. I don't mean to dog janitors. I don't even mean to dog the people who might be being greeters at the front door or being out there tossing the sign around. They might be listening to the show. They're Johnny Q, Sally Sue's. They're in a situation that completely sucks, that's outside of their control or design. They wish it wasn't so. They wish it wasn't so. Last thing about COVID, man. And this is what sucks, because and I don't think, and I'm going to do a segment probably tomorrow. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do a segment on the influence of cameras on religion, and why these pastors and why these priests that think that it doesn't matter if you're in the group. It's like, it's a joke. It says, it's the thought of community that matters. It's not community. It's the thought of it that matters. Those people, man, those people don't know what they're talking about. They have no clue. They're idiots. They're idiots. And you should not believe them. Well, maybe they're a good-hearted idiot. And you should say, look, this book has been around for a while. These studies have been around for a while. The impact of this has been obvious for a very long time. And you're sitting there talking about, blaming it on prayer in schools and stuff. Like, you're sitting there, well, they took prayers out of public schools and say, well, maybe the public school thing, by the way, maybe the public school thing was in and of itself a problem. Why are you relying on that? Maybe taking prayer out of the home is why it was so easy to take prayer out of the schools. And why it's been so hard to get it back in. I mean, at that point, you're like forcing that on a society that just doesn't even believe it anymore. But this is under your control. COVID masks are programming us to hate other people and to treat them as subhuman. It's by Stephen Cox. By the way, it's my buddy. This is my buddy. And, dude, he has lost a lot of weight, man. You're looking good, bud. You're looking good. Yeah. Very, very, very happy for you, man. He said, I've been going to the local gym for the last 4 weeks. Election season is always stressful. I know what Jimmy goes to. We used to go to the same gym. I don't go because, as far as I know, the steam room and the sauna are closed. And I'm like, dude, that's what I got to go there. I got to have that, man. Don't give me that crap. But he says, election season is always stressful, and Michigan winters are cold. Seeing how I work from home and all the restaurants in my state are closed due to our tyrannical governor, Gretchen Whitmer, exercising at the gym provides a kind of much-needed escape. But they got to wear masks. He's talking about people who come up to him, and, it's interesting. He says that there's a situation where a dude comes up, right, on multiple occasions, right? This person walks up, breaking social distancing rules, and we see this all the time. And one time he asked, while I was in the middle of a planking exercise, where my hands were out in front of me on the floor, to pull up the mask. He said it was below his nose. No hello. No, hey, what's your name? Just a cold-hearted request for me to put the cloth on my face over my nose. It's a burqa. It's a burqa, and these are the jihadis. These are the morality police showing up to your house. Showing up, walking up to you with a saber. Put your burqa on. Put that burqa over your face. Just a cold-hearted request for me to put it on. And not even a request, man. It'd be a demand. And he says it's purportedly rooted in science. He says every day he hears new horror stories about how someone at a store or a family outside at the park has been berated by a COVID Karen for not wearing a mask. We had the video, we've shown this before. This dude's basically stalking somebody down. He's stalking somebody down inside of a store. There's clearly some sort of shift happening to human beings at a subconscious level with all this mask wearing. It's complex. But here's what Stephen thinks is going on. Firstly, wearing a mask is how you show that you're in the club. We've talked about that, by the way. We've talked about that. In fact, early on, we talked about the dynamics of what makes it a cult. Okay, and the signaling. What are the meanings of the signals? So we know that. And a kind of collective brainwashing that you're in the club, that you're doing your part. It's a simple measure, but you don't want to be a murderous scumbag. Put on that mask. Second, wearing a mask is a form of virtue signaling. Of course, you're doing your part. But there's another thing that masks do that is equally repulsive. They hide our faces. Now, why does that matter? Because by not seeing other people's faces, you can't really see anyone's emotions. You can a little bit from the eyes. But those typically go together, and if they don't, that's actually a real problem. And those are patterns that we recognize and patterns that we see. In fact, these are universals, by the way. These are universals. God put it there for a reason. Put it there for a reason. You can't see them smiling. You cannot see them laughing. Two things that make us uniquely human and are some of the most pleasurable things the human eye can observe. Masks also discourage small talk and seem to disincline us from giving compliments to someone about their appearance. They disallow us from flashing a smile to an overjoyed infant sitting in their mom's shopping cart. What a sad thing that we can't smile back at happy children anymore. He says, as far as he can tell, these masks are turning us into transhumanist robots. They're making us view and treat each other people, as subhumans, as mere carriers of a virus to be avoided and reported to authorities immediately, instead of treating them as children of God whom we should interact with in a charitable way. It makes it easy. It makes it easy. They look at you, and if they don't see that mask, and imagine that. Imagine you're walking through and they're seeing you with a smile on your face, and their first thought in their mind is that you are a murderous maniac, and you're even worse because you're smiling at it. And that you're not just simply happy to see them. Whoa, that person, they're smiling while they're passing around the virus. Everybody's a carrier, even if you're not. Everybody. And you have to suspect every person. You can no longer give benefit of the doubt. You can no longer do this. All of those advancements that are made, all those advancements in time that are made to give people the benefit of the doubt and yet to protect those who are falsely accused and everything else, all of that stuff out the window. Out the window. In fact, in this world, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. You are assumed guilty. You're assumed to be riddled with the virus. He says, I'm not excited to go back to the gym this week. Imagine I'll be asked yet again to put my mask over my nose when it falls below it. If I am, I'll comply as best as I can. But I'll also respond with a kind hello and try to get to know the guy who's been on my case the last few weeks. Maybe we'll have something in common. Maybe we won't. Either way, at least I'll have tried to interact with him in a joyful, Christian, and human way. That paragraph, by the way, Stephen, that paragraph, dude, is just profound. It's so profound, dude. And it's vulnerable. I got to give it up to you. I've always liked, I like Stephen. He's a good guy. I've always liked his writing. There's been something that he was in the news. There's some criticism, man, by the way, over his reporting on SSPX stuff. We're not going to get into that here. Church militant, even Timothy Gordon, they had, people on talking about this. And so, about his reporting on the cover-up, stuff like that. And so, but this stuff here, where he's just opening up from his heart, he's tying it into his own experience in his life. These are his own Paleocrat Diaries, his own Stephen Cox Diaries. Okay? They're great. Do more of these, buddy. Do more of these. Let's see here. We're gonna. I'm not even gonna deal with some of these things. I'm just gonna skip right over them, man. Oh yeah, I don't even want to see this, man. Where they're dancing again. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm so sick and tired of it. I need to find the one about the situation that recently came out here. Hold on a second. Where's this? Where's the video of it? Okay, right here. Okay. Can any one of you make sense of Scavino, Dan Scavino Jr., his post from 15 minutes ago, who all is present in this photo? And this is what was the title of the show. You got to stick around in order to hear the title of the show. You got to stick around. You got to do it. And so you got this historical moment in the Oval Office. Now think about this, by the way. Actually, let me see here. Because I had an article that went with it. And talking about who took this picture from that angle? What took this picture from that angle? Security camera? If the picture is the result of the latter, then how in the F did this person get it? So yeah, who took this picture, by the way? And who are all these people? Have we figured that out? Because what he wrote is historical moment in the Oval. We'll share what it was one of these days when I can. And then it was removed. I think it's still over on his Facebook. Let me see, the Gateway Pundit. Let's see. Because they talked about it yesterday. Ah, yeah, okay, come on now. Continue to say. Oh, no. Yeah, so okay, by the way, I love the Gateway Pundit. I do. I really like the Gateway Pundit. But they talked about it, but they didn't have much more on it than we do. They don't have much more on it than we do. We're wondering, what exactly is going on right here. Okay. Did they update it? I didn't see anything about it. Dan Scavino is an American political advisor serving as the White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications and Director of Social Media for the White House. Last night, Scavino put up a Facebook post, which we don't know the meaning of. This is over at Gateway Pundit by Joe Hoft. An individual at the Donald.win reported this story first. Apparently, Dan Scavino put up a post showing the picture above, and he shared historical moment, what we talked about just a moment ago. This morning, any related tweet is not showing there, or Dan Scavino's Twitter accounts. But there is a post on Scavino's Facebook page. Yeah. So they took it off. What is Scavino trying to tell us? Who all is in the picture along with Scavino and President Trump? When was this taken? What is it all about? Update. We've noticed that this post is on Scavino's Facebook account, but we still are not sure what he's telling us. It's one of those things, guys, where I'm not part of the Trust the Plan club. I'm just not, I'm not part of that. I'm not part of the, every single move is 4D chess, or, every single move. Oh, he's taking the fall because if he does, then the people will gloat. And when they gloat, then he's going to get them. He's going to get them all. And I say, dude, no, I'm sorry. I've been through the Russia crap. I've been through all that. I've been through the treatment of all of the supporters. And there ain't no coming at Huber. What the heck happened with that guy? That was supposed to be amazing. Jeff Sessions. Oh, man. Oh, that was real great. Oh, it's fantastic, man. Yeah, really. Trust the plan. Mueller. Oh, yeah, man. Trust the plan on that. No. I don't always trust the plan on this. It's not a cartoon, man. It's not a cartoon. And even if that was a plan, the idea that it's like got this magical power that all of a sudden, well, that's what he wanted to do. And now we know the bad guys more. We knew him before, man. We knew him before. Did anybody sit there and think that these guys weren't bad guys? That they weren't slime balls? When they said drain the swamp, did you not have an idea what the swamp was? Did you not know who the swamp monsters were? No, but now we know them more. I mean, they've been on TV. They've been in positions of power. It's why they're called career people. That's why they're calling, these people, they've been in there for a lifetime. Oh, they have? That's really great. That's really great. Money Down says they're probably a scumbag. So I don't know. I don't know what this is about. I don't know if it's gonna turn out to anything. My hope is that it will. But look, I know. Look, there are YouTube channels out there. They rake it in, man. They rake it in by hyping that up, and that is a way. Look, I'm encouraged by the continued optimism of that, but their plan is misplaced because people are going to get burned out. And if it doesn't work out, and that's just part of life, by the way, if it doesn't work out, or if the whole thing is a LARP, if it doesn't work out, then people will be so deflated. That's a pop the balloon moment, spiraling out of control. It's a mega scheme. If that mega scheme, right? If that mega scheme, this massive narrative, and it's all interconnected, and it's all working according to plan, if all of a sudden it doesn't, and the entire thing crumbles, it's devastating. I don't play that game. It ain't based on Trump anyway. It's not based on, man. Do you guys put your trust in chariots and their horsemen? Do you do that? I strongly advise you to quit if you do. Don't do that. Don't put your trust in the chariots and their horsemen. Or somebody who you think has otherworldly-like mental and powers, is able to control everything going around him, and yet he couldn't, to be honest, let's be honest. He couldn't even bring in a lot of the people in the beginning to drain the swamp. I love Trump. I voted for Trump. I've supported Trump. I've defended Trump. I've worn the hat when people are like, don't do that. Don't wear that hat. I'm the one saying, look, I've gone on shows and defended, taking fast, rapid, fast-pitch questions, man, hardball. People throwing question. Defending it. On Christian shows, atheist shows, doesn't matter. I've done it. But to sit there and I don't joke around and be like, oh, yes, it was a really wise decision to have Priebus, making calls as to who's going to be in and who's not going to be in the beginning. The transition and stuff. Oh, that was great. That was a really good move. No, it wasn't. It wasn't good. To have Mr. Walrus, Mr. Bolton, and his walrus stash. No offense, it's actually a decent stash. It may be the only redeeming quality of that man, to be quite frank. But, to tell you the truth. But the thing is, there was not a wise decision. There was no need to do that. Oh, but we exposed them. No, you didn't, dude. The Bush years did. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And it's putting a lot of trust in it, man. But this is the kind of stuff I do believe in. Check this out. One of the, my buddy John went, where was this, by the way? Where was this? Let's see. John replied. Oh, yeah, Robert Gordon, Michigan Health and Safety Director. Okay. So this is what's happening here. And I've encouraged this, by the way. I've encouraged this kind of thing. Oh, you have trouble playing that video? Are you serious? You have trouble? Okay. So they went, man, that better pop up, man. That better pop up unless they remove it.
Oh, you turn off the lights. Oh, we know you're there. We know you're there.
People who simply they ain't having it anymore. People ain't having it anymore. They're deciding and saying, look, we're not going to play this crap. We're not going to play this, man. Because at the end of the day, we know that this is rigged against us. For example, former CIA officer and counterintelligence expert uncovers Obama crime database, hides BLM and Antifa violence, but it inflates white right-wing violence. Check this out. Have you guys heard of this, by the way? And that's why, remember during the highlight reel at the beginning of the show, during the highlight reel, it talks about that we see the violence in the streets. We see the people, that their businesses are getting looted. Their places of work are getting burned down to the ground. We're seeing all of the violence in the street. We're seeing gangs of thugs kicking the snot out of people or coming up behind random people and punching them in the head and laughing about it and sharing it. And yet we're told when we're being inundated with all of this that really it's the right-wing violence that we got to be worried about. It's somehow racism and white supremacy's fault. And that's what we're being told. And I say, no, dude, that's over, son. No. But the thing is, they can keep pumping out these stats. So the question is, how are they doing this? Why is there such a disconnect between what we see, what we know, what's present in the data? How is this happening? Here's why. It's simple, guys. Check this out. And it's grotesque, by the way. It's grotesque. You're going to be blown away. Former CIA counterintelligence officer Brad Johnson performed a study on criminal database that he found overstated white right-wing violence while discounting BLM and Antifa violence. In his study of the TIVA's database, there were a couple notable findings. For example, terrorism and extremist violence in the United States, which is TEVUS, terrorism and extremist violence in the United States, is a U.S. government-funded database that tabulates violent attacks in the United States, used by the U.S. government and the media alike. It is one of the fundamental sources of information about who is conducting violent attacks in the United States. So it's a very useful thing, right? I mean, it'd be useful if it was telling the truth. TIVA's reporting appears to set out to cover up Islamic, Arab, black nationalist, and left-wing terrorism and extremist violence, and attempts to document white and right-wing violence where little or no violence is actually existing. And the Americans for Intelligence Reform partially funded this exhaustive 2-year study by AIR senior fellow Christopher Hall, PhD, to look at the details and accuracy of what TIVA's reports that is used by DHS. Okay, so it's like, okay, well, this is good. This is good. Americans for Intelligence Reform, 2-year study by an AIR senior fellow, PhD guy going and looking at it. And the rest of our federal government and the media, it appears that TIVA's is a deeply political product with little information based on actual analysis. And if you don't believe it, this right here, the results of the study would be shocking if Obama wasn't involved. And that's true, by the way. The guy's a scoundrel. He's a scoundrel, and, he's probably, my guess is playing Biden like a puppet. I don't know if Biden's going to like that, though. I think he's finally got his chance. He finally got his due. So even if he had that little ear thing, where Obama's like, I've thought about, if I could have, my ear in there and had a puppet candidate, like my own Manchurian candidate. If I had that kind of thing, I'd be happy to do it. I bet you would. Bet you would, man. It says, but we become numb to the radical and dishonest actions related to the Obama administration. And here it is, guys. Listen to this. TIVA's uses their reporting and simply excludes many violent acts if they were perpetrated by non-whites, or worse, outright lies about the race of the individuals conducting violent acts. In a blatant display of data manipulation, the exclusively Arab, you guys prepare for this, the exclusively Arab 9/11 hijackers who murdered nearly 3,000 innocent people were categorized by TIVA's as, quote, white, Caucasian, non-Hispanic. Oh, yeah, you guys saw that, right? All those white Caucasian guys. You saw that, right? You saw that. And that's what was peddled for a long time, because we didn't, But it lists them as that. That's 3,000 deaths, by the way. TIVA systematically covers up the violence associated with black nationalist groups, like Black Lives Matter, even though BLM activists and supporters have allegedly killed at least 11 police officers and wounded 9 since 2014. And none of that information is included. None. It's remarkable. It's remarkable, guys. And the thing is, I want to figure out, that's why I'm grateful, by the way, for stuff like this. I would love to go through this. I need to connect. This would be maybe a lifetime of study. I'm glad that we have a division of labor. But the truth is, WikiLeaks finally said, you know what? We're putting it all out there. All of it. Everything we've got on Hillary, on Obama, on the whole gang. The whole gang. It's all there. File after file after file after file after file after file. And, you know, I normally cover a lot of WikiLeaks stuff, including, for example, the leaked thing yesterday from James O'Keefe talking about how Julian Assange even reached out to the State Department to warn them, right? Well, it wasn't the State Department, to warn them of cables that were outside of their control to be published, but they were hoping that they would be able to do some protection for some of the people that they feared would be released. And they said, look, we can work with you guys, or we want to at least let you know about it, that the way that's done, it gives time for things to be redacted so nobody gets in harm's way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but him and Snowden, I mean, a lot of blood on their hands. They're real enemies of the state, not the people that, you know, sent us to war for reasons that we now know are completely bogus, by the way. I hope that we never accept it again. I know we will, if for no other reason than there has been a great realignment that's taken place. And the great realignment that took place is that in the years leading up to Trump and in the years since Trump was elected, there was a major change in the foreign policy and the geopolitical position of the right and the left. The right, for years and years and years and years and years, so many people on the right were just drinking the booze of neoconservatism. Oh, Bill Kristol's amazing. Oh, the Weekly Standard is dope. No, it's not. It was garbage. I was part of that Paleocon stuff from the get-go. You know, reading some of the first pages ever of American Conservative Magazine. Chronicles, you name it. But now there's been a switch. And all of a sudden, man, now those people, and some of them I don't even believe are legit. Some of them I think that if all of a sudden Republicans, if somehow we had another neocon president, it's always possible. You know. But the thing is, if we ever did, I think those same people, they just ride the roller coaster, the chameleons, those are the ones that would say, oh yeah, man, we're going to go to war because that's America's role in the world. And sadly, there's a lot of people, the sheeple that listen to that crap, who would be like, oh yeah, we're back in it. You know, they'll just forget about the Trump stuff. But I think that by and large, this is a shift that's going to stick around for a minute. Same thing with the left, though. They're now beholden to a guy who has a bloodlust. A guy who believes in Team America World Police, who thought it was a documentary and not a joke. And in a way, it is in fact a documentary. Just spelled, you know, with a mock in the front. It's a big fat joke. With eggs on their face. And he's like, oh, no, it was really good. It's exactly what we need. We need people like that. But the left is now going to be beholden. If they go out and they complain and they go, we're going to go out and we're going to protest and we're going to sit there and do that, I'm going to tell them to shut up. Say, get out of here. You people. Those people, man, and I can just imagine, because they love, they're freakazoids. They love going out in the streets and protesting and feeling like, this is what democracy looks like. And they like doing that crap. But all the while, when it comes down to it and they've got to make a decision, they're going to push that button and be like, dude, I love a lady who was prosecuting a bunch of black people and a guy, black people for crimes that we're totally against. We're going to make her like a savior of the universe. And we're also going to support a guy who's responsible not only for that bill, the crime bill, but used words that were much worse, by the way, than the super predator crap. Descriptions that were dramatically worse. And yet at the same time, he was responsible and one of the masters of the universe, overseeing and advocating and making decisions regarding Team America World Police. So screw those people. They want to come back out? You got some mea culpas to do. Because you know what? There was a candidate in there that we didn't start any new foreign wars. There was a candidate in there that was that way. And I hope he sticks around. I hope that he's able to push through and that somehow, magically, all of a sudden, things are going to fall into place. It's going to be wicked bad if it does, by the way. And by wicked bad, I mean, you thought that stuff was crazy during the summer. You thought stuff was crazy in the lead up to the election with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. You ain't seen nothing. Those are tiddlywinks. Those are tiddlywinks. You saw people come up and steal signs, wait till they throw bricks in the window. You got to be ready. You got to be ready. Flat out. That's why I support this stuff. It's why I support this stuff, man. Let's see here. I'll talk about that one tomorrow, too. It's all right. Oh, yeah. By the way, this is the last thing. When we talked about the tranny earlier on the show, the transgender activist that says all children should be on puberty blockers until they can offer informed consent. This is the popular activist right here. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. I mean, look at all that. Look at all of the signaling going on. Well, I don't want to show that. That's scandalous. So, okay, it's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. And by the way, the conversation took place years ago. Had to do with the claim that it is transphobic and, in fact, something that we need to really work on. If you are, let's say, a guy and you're not into a tranny, because maybe that tranny, well, either it still has, the male thing happening, or is, having the fake woman thing down there, or just the mere fact that you're talking about somebody who, while being a man, is saying, oh no, I'm a woman. And I'm like, oh no, I've got many reasons to say you are not. You are not a woman. That in fact, is raging bigotry. That's raging discrimination. Total hate, man. I'm like, no, you're just ain't into dong. And that it's really bad. It's really bad. Oh, well, you're not going to go on a date with that person? You're not going to do stuff with the mouth and all that? I'm like, well, heck no, I'm not. Sicko. And they come at you looking like that, and I'm like, dude, I got a lot of reasons not to even talk to you, home slice. Kind of weirding me out, dude. Yeah, bro, there's a lot going on there. A lot going on there. So, all right, everybody. I want to be really, really grateful. Really grateful for all of you. In fact, I'll go here. Let me go ahead and I'm going to screen capture. I'm going to screen capture one of these comments because I want to talk about it tomorrow. Barbara Farley gave a cool story about her brother, Chris. And I'd like to talk about it tomorrow on the show. Yep. But some of the comments real quick before we go here. The effect, let's see here. The effects these things have on babies and toddlers are what frightens me the most. Talking about masks, not seeing faces. That's part of early childhood development, by the way. That's some of the earliest pattern recognition that children have when it comes to seeing, right? To see what it looks like when somebody smiles at you. To see what it looks like in the way that this forms in the mind of little children and little babies. It is absolutely frightening. And by the way, really grateful for that, CF. You're totally right. Let's see here. Let's see. The effects of these things. Okay, yeah. Catholic men need to organize and prepare to defend the church. That's Patty McGill, totally. And by the way, saying that's what they mean, seceding from the United States of America. That may mean, in fact, seceding. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about the history of that and what that would mean. I brought it up a little bit talking about the design of where the red and the blue is kind of broken up and how that would work. Because we don't have the conditions that were set during the Civil War, where it's neatly divided between an industrial north and an agricultural south, where they were even culturally different, that went kind of with the way that they treated property and land. We have been, by and large, influenced by technocracy and industrialism all across the country. And so we don't have that same thing. It's really, at this point, it's a worldview and a culture matter, which you're talking about an entirely different dynamic of secession. And even if you broke it down by the states in the red and the blue, we would lose a vantage point that it's actually very important. Our founders recognized the importance of having the Atlantic and the Pacific and the coastal states. I mean, we'd be in trouble. It would have to be something else. And I think maybe it's a time, even more than secession, would be a conversation, which is still in the realm of that, but it would be in the argument, which is at least scholarly. People are having scholarly discussions about this, about what do they call it? Regionalism, where it's broken up. The country has simply gotten too big for its britches. And that makes sense if you ask me. I mean, it really does. And for a federalist model, it's not as if the size and scale doesn't matter. You know, the founders understood that too, by the way. You know, let's see here. And yeah, Patty says this is a Christian channel. Yeah, it is. Yeah, totally. Let's see. Let's see here. And Soul, is there any truth to dancing on 9/11? You know, I've heard this. You know, not entirely sure. There were also, you know, they were dancing a lot of different people that day. People who don't like America, or people who would love to see this thing hurt. I would need to know a little bit more about that. If you have any information, make sure to send that to me at Paleocrat Diaries at gmail.com. Let's see, Gladys Kravitz Jr. does the gross face abomination. Probably talking, oh yeah, okay, you're talking about the transgender situation there. David Arthur is a former transgender who has a ministry to call people out of that sin. Yeah, that was a topic we talked about with Joe Pacello, talking about some of the people who've gone through that. And I know people, not people who identified as transgender or went through with surgeries and stuff like that, but people who lived as gay men and lesbian women for many years and now are raising great families. Paula Nagel says, have a blessed Thursday, Jeremiah. Another great show today. Yeah, thank you very much. And make sure, hey, kids, got to have the kids come down right now. In fact, all right, yeah. Yeah, so we're at the end of the show. We got to say goodbye. And I got to wait for them because I love me. My kids are all home. They're home a little bit early. They've been having their finals week, and this show is about them. And I didn't say this earlier, but it was running at the bottom of the screen, and that being that if you want to support the show, it's a great way to support it. PayPal.me/Paleocrat. If you go there, you can make donations. You can become a member, of course, at paleocratdiaries.com. And the thing is, 100% of the donations that go to this show go toward my children and their continued education at Sacred Heart Academy. It's a classical education Catholic school. They begin school with Mass every single day, including the recent Rorate Mass that they did not tell me about. And I heard, by the way, were you both of you serving?
No, it's
just Athens today. Was it Latin Mass today?
Yep.
Yeah. Is it every Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every Thursday, Latin Mass. You know, even the ordinary form, when they do that, it's ad orientem. It's beautiful.
Also, Athens won't be coming down because he doesn't know, because me and Teresa were downstairs and Teresa doesn't want to go get him.
Oh no.
Oh
no.
So Athens not gonna be on here.
Oh no, Athens not gonna be on here. He's gonna be well. You should know this by this time. What about Mama and Lucian?
Well, Mama's not. Mama
what?
Yeah. So
Where's Louie?
He's sleeping.
What? Louie's sleeping.
I don't think.
Well, you know what? Okay, that's okay. You know what? Because you guys don't see here. You guys got to come up on each side. Come up a little bit closer.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, Teresa, you got to come up here. There we go. So yeah, real quick, man. Say who you are.
I am Ambrose Bannister.
So this is Ambrose. Okay, and you got to.
My middle name is Lewis.
Yeah, you got to come over here. Come on, T. Yeah. Tell them who you are real quick.
And I'm Teresa.
No, you got to get in the microphone. He doesn't pick it up.
You gotta
Okay, she doesn't want to be on the microphone. Are you serious? Are you serious, girl?
I don't get them.
Yeah, he doesn't get. Well, we'll do some shows sometime where we've got more with the kids and everything else, and you can find that. Maybe some unlisted shows. Maybe we'll have a family show where you just have all of us together and we're having a really great time. Okay. But this show, it's all about the kids, man. It's about making sure not only that we're working as hard as we can, giving an example, but doing what we can to help form a world that they're going to one day inhabit, and equipping them, not just to be good people and good husbands and good citizens, but future saints as well. And so that's what the program is about. That's what Sacred Heart is about. And we are really grateful for all of you. And remember, again, 100% of the donations that come into this show, 100%, not a penny, goes to anything other than making sure that my kids can continue their education. In fact, for years to come. And at the rate that we're pumping out kids, we are taking that mandate seriously. We love the babies. We love the babies and we love each other. And that's just the way that works. And so at that rate, it's going to be going on for a minute. And so it's a really awesome thing, and I'm eternally grateful for all of you who tune in. I'm eternally grateful for each and every one of you who've commented today. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your comments, but I really appreciate every single one of you, and I'm so grateful. I cannot even begin to tell you how grateful I am for that. And so make sure to tune in again tomorrow between 10 and 10:30.
Do you want me to get Athen?
No. He missed it.
And also,
He missed it. Oh, yeah. By the way, we got to make some shirts that say that. Yeah, keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. Like we say, yes. Totally. So, okay, here we go. Split screen. You guys are awesome. What an amazing show we've got, don't we? We're an amazing wolf pack, howling at the sun every single day. And I hope that the energy, the enthusiasm, the depth and the breadth of this show inspires you throughout the remainder of the day, all the way tomorrow. To learn more about the program and about the host, to learn more about the family, Team Tiny Dancer. If you want to learn more about all of that, and even to see the video about my daughter, my firstborn, her life and death with cancer, and how that impacted our lives, not only in the day-to-day stuff, but also in the ever-after stuff, bringing us back to taking a knee for Jesus Christ and finding our place back in the Catholic Church. You can go to paleocratdiaries.com. You can do it for all that, as well as for volunteer opportunities, contributor opportunities. You got all of it. For interviews, speeches, other inquiries, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. And of course, check out the work at Paleo Cheese and Meaning of Catholic.
Wait, Papa, did you...
No, he's not, because we are out of here. He's too late. We're out of here, as we say each and every time.
Wait,
Here he comes. Oh, no.
Did you tell them about the commercial we're making?
Yeah, what's that?
Did you tell them about the commercial we're making?
Yes, I told him about the commercial. You weren't watching the show. Yeah.
Yeah, because I came here at 12.
No, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, there'll be a commercial. We're gonna do that. So we gotta go, guys. We gotta go. But I'm glad Athanasius, there he is. I'm glad he's down here. Yeah, I told him, I said, leave him up there. He should be paying attention. So we love you guys. And as we say each and every time when we salute you at the end, we say what, guys? Never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. You guys are awesome. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right? Mind control. So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.